All right, let's go. It is Monday. Welcome live to Drive Time with Russia. It's Jason. You're at Laura with the news. Dan is here. We have lots of great guests. Lots of things to talk about today. And I want to start with an interview that provoked a very different reaction in me than it did in Dan. And so I want to know where you are on this. It's 651-461-9226. For the first time, the son of the governor of Minnesota did a sit-down interview to talk about the reaction at the convention, to talk about his life. I found it fascinating, touching, inspiring, and Dan had very cynical, snotty questions right away. There is no doubt that the governor of Minnesota is at least testing the waters to see if he should run for president of the United States. And I'm a believer that kids of people who run for office are off limits if they stay off limits. This isn't really a discussion about Gus Walz. This is a discussion about the way the media gets used to launch things. And for me, it's a discussion about a young man who got caught up in something because of a really genuine, beautiful reaction. We're going to play a couple of clips, 651-461-9226, if you want to weigh in on whether you think this was a genuine interview or if you think perhaps a little bit of cynicism on the governor's motivations. Is he using his kid to advance his presidential ambitions? Here's the first part that I think a lot of us have been curious about after we saw that moment where Tim Walz was nominated as vice president, and you see Gus just gushing, pointing at the stage. That's my dad. It's a moment that me and my kids talked about. The genuine. I think I had Sam on the show, in fact, to give his reaction to what that was like. Here's what Gus Walz had to say about that moment.
There were some people who were mean about it. What do you remember about that?
I just kind of ignored it, I guess, was the only way to put it. I just continued to do what I do. I just blocked it out because I was just being emotional. Like, there's nothing wrong with showing emotions. And if people are going to say there's something wrong with that, then those are not the people that I want to be associated with.
Here's a great answer. It's a great answer. And you hear that and you say, like, we can have teenagers having like normal reactions, emotional reactions. And I think that moment was a great, on a weekend where we're celebrating Mother's Day and we're celebrating the bond that a parent has with their kids. Like, what a moment for that family, right? And Gus is talking about hearing, his dad's hearing his last name chanted. You're like, oh my gosh, like if you're a kid, that has got to be absolutely
from the Democratic National
just has to be a bananas moment.
Hope.
So Gus Walz talking about that, I thought
you are my entire
Dan,
world,
you had no cynical reaction
His
to that
reached the nation.
at this point.
Yeah, no, my cynicism has nothing to do
It's
with
not about
Gus.
Gus.
Nothing.
Feeling
That's
the
about his
intensity of
father,
that
and
moment,
it's
we
about
all
politicians
saw
in
him
general.
say, "That's my dad."
All right, we'll get to that.
You could see it simply as
because I
a
do think
son
your
bursting with
cynicism is
pride.
warranted.
But what
Even
came
though
next
it wasn't
made
my
it more
reaction to it at all.
Some people saw the raw
which
emotion
maybe
and
just says more about
responded
you
with
or and me.
compassion. Others,
Probably.
cruelty. Then came
Or like
prayer.
I was just at a Mother's Day
The
weekend
family
high. Who
shared
knows?
something
Could have been.
personal.
Who knows? This is Monday, I
18-year-old
started feeling
Gus
good.
has a
All right, here is
nonverbal learning disorder.
this is what really touched
attention
me because the
deficit
reporting
hyperactivity
afterwards,
disorder,
and you do have this
an anxiety
moment
disorder. Conditions that millions of people
where
live with, but are often
we all
misunderstood.
learned.
Are you
that Gus
excited?
Walz
Very
had
excited.
Now, from his home,
kind of
the governor's mansion in St. Paul, Minnesota,
I don't even know how to
Gus
describe it. In the
is ready
interview,
to
they
speak
called
for
it
himself.
a
I'm excited to show people who I am and just kind of
learning
what I do and what I've
disorder.
done and just about me.
They said he's got
Take me back to that moment.
activity.
What do you remember?
It was crazy.
And he's
And I'm like
got,
looking at my mom and I'm like,
anxiety
that's my dad. He's right there. he's right in front of all of
Nonverbal learning
America, all these
disorder,
people
attention
chanting our
deficit,
last name. It was super
hyperactivity,
overwhelming
and
because
anxiety.
to me, he's just regular old
But
dad, you know,
when you
just
say
normal dad,
nonverbal
golfs with
disorder,
me, make food, clean the cars,
right?
everything like that. And in that moment, it was something bigger. It was
You
just
got
surreal.
a chance.
There were some people
think
who were
me, for
mean
God,
about it. What do you remember about that?
and I think
I
about this
just kind
in
of ignored
context
it,
of my
I
own
guess was the
kids.
only way to put it.
To a certain degree, I drive the narrative as to what the world thinks
because
about
I was
my
just
kids.
being emotional. Like,
Which
there's nothing wrong
is
with showing emotions.
fundamentally
And if
unfair.
people are going to say there's
And all
something
of us
wrong with
do it
that,
with
then
our
those are
kids
not
in
the
very,
people
very
that I want
minor
to be
ways, right?
associated
The way
with.
we share
Amen.
So
snippets
kind
of
of
their
just
life
block that out.
on social media.
Gus's mom, Gwen
Even if you
Walz,
ask them, I ask my
Minnesota's
kids,
first
I'm sure a lot
lady
of you
and
ask
a
your
former
kids if you can
teacher,
post stuff. But we
explained
still,
things
as the
this
parent,
way.
are sort of
If someone
driving
has
the way they're
dyslexia,
perceived.
that's on one side of the brain. The
This
nonverbal learning
moment
disorder is the other side of the brain. And
sort of took on a
that's
life
where
of its own.
maybe
And Gus
reading
talked a
facial
little bit
cues or
about,
understanding vocal tone or
about his
understanding
life. Yeah.
gestures.
I think some people
But
think like I'm a little
everything that
slow and like
is
I'm not like a
not
normal
spoken
kid. And I think
is
that
part of
I'm
that
like one of the most
nonverbal
normal
learning
people that you
disorder.
could find.
And sometimes
Gus was
people think
diagnosed
that
in
it's
the sixth
that you
grade.
can't speak.
I
Routine really
thought
helps
that's
me,
what it meant.
you know,
Yeah,
consistency.
I thought, oh, he
so I
doesn't
think my
speak.
mom and you were like, all
So
right,
when you
let's go in,
said,
people trying
oh,
to
he
do
talks
this
plenty, I
without-
was like, oh.
So I don't know. I think that was just, you're like, yep. I think a lot of us have kids in our life or adults in our life who need that sort of a little bit more control over the situation. Pretty good. So right up, to me, I think I'm like, this is great. This is this kid getting a chance to tell the story with David Begnaud on CBS this morning. And David's not a political reporter. He tells inspirational stories. So it felt like a good fit. One more clip I want to play here, because what I really like is this is Gus Walz having his moment and saying what he wants to say about himself.
Have you ever done an interview?
No.
You've never done an interview. What do you want America to know about Gus Walz?
That I am a normal kid who likes to play volleyball, loves his family,
In the
loves his
secret.
friends,
You like
and
driving?
I love
likes to help people out.
I got something for you.
I get the sense that
Do you
in a
find
good
that
way,
who
Gus
you
wants
are
to
and what makes you unique actually helps you?
Oh,
It
yeah,
works in your
there's-
favor.
There's
He wants
definitely
to
some
earn
big
things on
strengths,
his own.
and some of those, like I'm really good at making relationships with people.
You know, in a world where we
One
tell
of the things that
kids
I'm not
to
as good at
stand
is
out,
picking
I
up
get
on
the
like
sense that
nonverbal
in a good
cues,
way,
like when
Gus
somebody,
wants
you know,
to
says
fit
like
in.
they're done or they're ready to
I
be
want
done.
that.
Sometimes I can't tell if they're being serious or not.
So
cheese.
We put in a
when
lot
you
of
see
cheese.
this
Can't
interview,
go wrong
It's
with
okay
cheese.
though.
I think
We've
it's
been
also
trying to eat
fair
healthy,
to
but
say
it hasn't been working.
how'd this happen? And that was the question you asked me.
Well, yeah, because so Patrick Royce talks about when he's talking to a general manager or to a coach or somebody in the sports management situation, his mindset is, why is this person lying to me right now?
Yep.
And there's a definite, definitely a large amount of cynicism with that. And there's reasons for that cynicism.
Yeah, because that's
And
the
I sort of
track record.
carry that kind of idea when I deal with politicians. Why is this politician spinning or lying right now? And I think there's fair amount of evidence as to why you would be suspicious of that. Look, the election was 5 months ago, seven months ago.
Yeah.
The incident, or the convention
It
where
was a long time ago.
was
Out of the news cycle, for
not
sure.
quite a year ago, but close to it. Why is this interview happening now? When we know his father's been out on the circuit and doing the things, his father's doing everything you would do if you wanted to run for president in 2028.
No doubt.
So,
And we've criticized the fact that he seems more interested to a certain degree in visiting other states and being on the national agenda than he does dealing with
Right.
us in Minnesota.
So when I ask the question in my mind, why is this interview happening now? Which again, no fault of Gus's whatsoever. Good for him. He was great. He was fantastic in this interview. Good for Gus. Why is this interview happening now is the first question that pops into my head. And the only answer I can come up with is, well, is this part of the machine trying to, work up a Walz in 2028 campaign?
You weigh in. I think just to be clear, I think your question is totally valid, spot on, because to a certain degree, the Walz people are sort of screwed one way or the other, right? If you don't let Gus do this the way he wants to do it, then you sort of deny your kid the chance to sort of tell his own story. When he became part of a national conversation just because of that one moment. On the other hand, If you did it right afterwards, people would say, well, now you're for sure pimping your kid out so you could try to be vice president. If you wait and say, like, let's not, like, he's maybe not ready to quite do this, whatever. You're sort of damned if you do, damned if you don't.
I don't disagree.
But you're right.
I think it would have been a lot more understandable closer to the incident itself.
Yeah. Other than I think a kid is maybe not ready for that.
Maybe.
You haven't fully processed
It's entirely
it.
possible. Yeah.
It's a lot. It's a lot when all of a sudden you become a thing. Now, his daughter's on TikTok. She's like doing her thing.
Mhm.
It is a weird era in politics where we sort of put these kids in, well, the kids sort of put themselves in the public, but they do it in the way that kids do it. Just normal, right? Like, yeah, you got a TikTok, of course. Every kid has a TikTok. Every kid who's interested in politics has a TikTok. So what? But then it becomes part of the national conversation, too. I think it's a little tricky to know quite what to do with it, you know? But I connect with the emotional part. Lots of good texts coming in. I'll share your thoughts when we come back. Drive Time with DeRusha. It's Monday here on CCO.
We need a quick pit stop. Then Jason DeRusha continues on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Let's talk about Minnesota farmers, Minnesota pork. It's Jason here for our friends who are working so hard in the fields all around this state. Minnesota pork farmers are 3,000 families. It's 3,000 people. They're all over the place, but they're making an impact on their community. They're working hard to take care of their pigs using the latest technology and the latest best practices. And they're also working hard to take care of the planet, which is something that I think is really cool. Our Minnesota pig farmers so often are multi-generational. So they are kind of, they've been around. And they are trying to make sure that the land and the soil and the water is good to go for the next generation. For me, it's all about safe, reliable, affordable, delicious, high-protein, lean Minnesota pork. So good when you go to your grocery store, your butcher shop. Recipes for you, we got them. mnpork.com. Click on Pork 101. There are all sorts of recipes for you. But most importantly, go to your grocery store, go to your butcher shop, and say, let's have Minnesota pork for dinner tonight.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate your car today at carsforkids.org. Your car, running or not, can be picked up as soon as the next day. No title, no problem. Call 877-CARS-FOR-KIDS or go online at carsforkids.org to donate today.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
When a tree crashes onto your roof, it's not just damage, it's chaos. But it doesn't have to stay that way. Call Brian Job of Job Brothers Construction. As a local, family-owned business based in Minnetonka, Job Brothers offers same-day emergency service across the Twin Cities. From the moment disaster hits to the final shingle nailed down, Brian and his team handle it all, start to finish. They'll work directly with your insurance companies. You don't have to play middleman or worry about what's covered and what's not. They take care of everything: roofing, siding, windows, gutters, and they do it with the kind of care you'd expect from a neighbor, not just a contractor. It's why so many Minnesotans trust them after the storm is past. Don't wait. Schedule your no-obligation full inspection now at jobbrothersconstruction.com. That's J-O-B-E, Job Brothers Construction. They get the job done right.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
You're listening to Drive Time with DeRusha. Video streaming live on YouTube and always on your radio at News Talk 830 WCCO.
All right, in about 10 minutes, we're going to talk with a local Gen Zer who says some of the national supposed youngsters who are the voice of the next generation for the Democrats, she's like, not for me. Pretty interesting opinion piece from Haley Taylor Schlitz. And we'll talk with Haley in just a couple minutes. We're talking about the Gus Walz interview today with both Dan and I loved what Gus had to say. Normal kid who works through some challenges and some struggles, and lots of text coming in at 651-461-9226. Maybe Gus wanted to talk, says one texter. It's another good way of showing that differences in people are only that. It doesn't necessarily have effects on abilities. It has nothing to do with worth. Maybe Gus wanted to be able to show that and to tell his own story. Lots of questions about that. I'd be interested to know if Gus wanted to do the interview or if it was, suggested by a campaign person or a staff person. I think from the interview, it's real obvious that he wanted to do it.
I agree with that. I just don't think those two things are mutually exclusive.
Both. For sure.
Right. I mean,
and that's the tension.
Yep.
That's the tension. And I feel this with my own kids, Dan, where my kids may want to be a part of something. I know that if I post a video with my kids or a picture with my kids, people like it. So my kids want it. I know the audience wants it. I also know, when people want to see something and they like it, well, that's sort of how the business of this works.
Mm-hmm.
So we may have a scenario where we're both right, where Gus wanted to do it. It was beautiful. David Begno, a texter, points out, has his own speech issues. He's done stories about how he was diagnosed with Tourette's syndrome. So very much feels like the perfect person to tell this story. And also a texter says, Dan's right. We all know how politicians operate. Walz is no exception. I'm sure this interview was well-planned strategy. That is the tension.
Yep.
And I guess I don't know what we do with this other than talk about it and think about it, because I don't think there's anything inherently bad about doing something that also has a positive benefit for your political campaign or your business career or whatever.
Sure. I don't knock Gus for doing the interview at all. I mean, if that's what he wanted to do, that's great. I just have my guard up because I know politicians across the board are constantly trying to manipulate us.
Yeah.
And try to pull at the heartstrings and tell a story that, to elicit votes.
Yeah.
And so I just, again, I just sort of have a natural.
Well, it's like every book that's going to come out in the next couple of years. It's all that, right?
There's a story today, and I think I sent this one to you, about Gavin Newsom asking cities in California to ban homeless encampments. And immediately my reaction is he's running for president. Right. Because that's a very moderate stance for a Democrat to take, and to be public about it the way that he was, when he doesn't really have the power to order them to do that.
Right.
To me, that's just my guard is up all the time of, okay, why is this trying to, what is this trying to produce?
Right.
In terms of furthering this individual's career?
Do you think does that make you a better consumer of this stuff or worse?
I don't know. That's a great question because I could argue it both ways.
Yeah. I don't know either because I bring these same sensibilities.
Yeah.
Right?
It's just the natural reaction that I have at this point after dealing with politics as much as we do in the media, for as long as I have. It's just that's the knee-jerk reaction that I have.
Yeah, I mean, watching the governor as a dad. I mean, some of this, honestly, from a political strategy stuff, you're like, well, this would have been more helpful during the campaign instead of after. And so as far as the helpfulness of this to something going forward, I don't know. What's hard is like as a parent, I think it would be malpractice for the governor to shut it down if his son wanted to do it. Because I do think to what many of the texters have been reacting to, the idea that you do recognize that he's a regular kid. He gets sort of, I will say the Gus Walz in the interview was not the Gus Walz I expected based on seeing that moment and then being told, well, he has a nonverbal learning disorder.
And you can make a very convincing argument that it's parental malpractice not to let him do it. I can make a very convincing argument that it's political malpractice not to let him do it.
There.
Because what does this do? What does this interview do? It paints the governor in a very positive light in the national media. Well, why would the governor be interested in doing that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Not just like we said, that's the tension of this conversation is that both of those things can be true at exactly the same time.
Pretty good. Thanks, Dan, for sharing that. I think that's really good. It is the tension in this. It is. I think that we all have to watch this stuff with the appropriate amount of cynicism and skepticism, but we have to make sure that the cynicism and skepticism doesn't overtake the humanity and the ability to see you can extract the value out of it and then just leave the political side of it to the side. We're going to break. I'm so interested to meet our next guest who has been writing a bunch of commentaries at the Minnesota Star Tribune website. Gen Z perspective on national politics right now with the local eye. Coming up, Haley Taylor Schlitz. I'm going to get it right. Haley's going to smack me in the face, and then I'll get it right when we come back here on Drive Time.
Don't touch that dial. More Drive Time with DeRusha coming up on News Talk 830 WCCO. Saying what needs to be said.
Yes, he's an illegal immigrant. Yes, he deserves due process.
Smart, sharp, and not afraid to stir the pot.
Sometimes when you're intentionally trying to smear someone for political purposes, you're also right.
Minnesota nice with a lot of spice.
Another Trump presidency will begin before Southwest Light Rail actually opens. I don't like it when a kid jumps to like 3 and 4 institutions at transfer portal, but times have changed.
Where the smart people hang out and discuss what matters.
Arts education always seems like it's the first thing to cut.
Some post great quotes. Here, we drop them live.
The government, to me, is not in the business of growing families.
News Talk 830 WCCO.
At the University of Minnesota, our goal is to make sure what happens in Minnesota doesn't stay in Minnesota, because the discoveries we're making have implications for the health of the world. From the cancer-detecting AI model we built in Rochester, to how we're redefining mental health in Morris, to breakthroughs we're making in Crookston, Duluth, and the Twin Cities. Our discoveries start here, but they make the world healthier everywhere. The University of Minnesota, driven to discover.
Construction problems come with challenges, but legal issues shouldn't be one of them. At Helmuth & Johnson, we focus on construction law, protecting contractors, developers, and business owners from costly disputes. From contract negotiations to litigation and compliance, we make sure your projects stay on track and your interests stay protected. Whether it's a delay, a dispute, or a deal, we've got you covered. Visit hjlawfirm.com. That's hjlawfirm.com. Helmuth & Johnson, on your side, at your side.
In my opinion, they are simply the best. Who am I talking about? Aquarius Home Services. How do you track them down? AquariusHomeservices.com. I've had Aquarius at my homes for 30 plus years. I want the best quality water. I want it for multiple reasons. Number one, safety. I want that drinking water system. Get rid of those chemicals and it tastes great. And how about the water softener? The best. Track them down. Tell me the spot from Chad AquariusHomeservices.com.
Hey, it's Vanita. The easy way to do something isn't always the smart way to do it. When you're selling your home, you might think that one of those instant cash offers is always the way to go. Most of them are for nowhere close to what your home is worth. You are much better off calling my friend, the good neighbor agent, John Schuster of the John Schuster Group, Coldwell Banker Realty. They just helped Doug sell his home. He was moving out of state, wanted to sell his home fast. He reached out to 5 of those cash offer investors to make instant offers. He decided to call John, though, and see if he could get more money. John assured him that he could, and he did. John sold his home for $75,000 more than the highest instant offer Doug received. It paid off. Contact John for full details. 952-222-9000 online. JohnSchusterGroup.com.
Buy a home, sell a home, we'll get you moving. JohnSchusterGroup.com.
Terms and conditions may apply.
Now on CCO, let's do traffic and weather together. First, a check of the drive and what shape the roads are in.
Going to find a ramp shut down due to a road blow. This traffic update is brought by Linda's Construction. Get your Leaf Guard brand cutters. LindasConstruction.com. It's West 36 to South on Highway 280. Closed as they do the emergency road work in that area. They may be closed throughout the rest of the rush hour, so keep that in mind if you're headed that way. East 36 got some slowdowns there. 280 heading out toward Rice Street. 35 east slows both directions between Randolph and I-94. 494 westbound plugged up. 12th Avenue out to 100. Get the Leaf Guard gutter system, guaranteed never to clog. Custom fit to your home on site for perfect seamless finish. Available in a variety of colors to complement your home's decor. Call Linda's Construction at 844-9-LINDAS or lindasconstruction.com. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
The face of Minnesota veterans is changing. For the centennial year celebration, DAV of Minnesota invites you to join the ongoing effort to fulfill promises made to the men and women who served our great state and nation. Donate today at davmn.org.
Forecast time with an update on current conditions and a quick look at what's ahead the next few days.
Weather's brought to you by DAV of Minnesota. Here is our chief meteorologist, Chris Schaefer.
Clear sky tonight. You'll see that bright full moon, 63 the overnight low. It stays warm the next couple of days. Mostly sunny, highs in the upper 80s, breezy both days. Finally, some rain on Thursday. Those showers linger into Friday. Our highs are going to slip back to the 60s, which is just below average, and they'll stay there through the weekend.
Right now, it is windy, that is for sure. Very windy out there, but we're in the middle of a crazy stretch. 85, that red flag warning in effect on CCO.
This is Drive Time with DeRusha.
He does an incredible job, and he's not only a great announcer, but an even better person. So,
wow.
DeRusha on News Talk 830 WCCO.
So many old guys think they know what the future of the Democratic Party is or should be. I always think after an election that they should probably fire all of the, commentators and opinion people who just totally missed the boat or missed the point, or at least do a fact check of did these people know what they're talking about? I was extremely interested when I read an opinion piece in the Minnesota Star Tribune by our next guest. The headline, "This 20-something does not speak for Gen Z," talking about David Hogg, who is young, gun activist, gun control activist, but he has said that he wants to take down Democratic incumbents who aren't progressive enough. Haley Taylor Schlitz is an attorney. She's a writer. She's a community activist, a DFLer, and joins us in studio with another Gen Z perspective. Haley, it's so good to meet you.
Thank you for having me on. It's good to meet you.
What has jumped out to you that made you say, I got to write this?
I think that there's a huge misconception that one person can represent an entire generation. And so I felt it was really important to add various perspectives and even opposing perspectives to what David Hogg and those who agree with him. This is not just about him, but rather what he is suggesting and what he's trying to use his platform for, and the pushback and how this does not represent all demographics of the wide range of Gen Z and our opinions.
Your opening line If the goal was to prove every critic right who thinks Gen Z is impulsive, self-centered, and addicted to online drama, David Hogg just delivered the template.
Yeah.
That is the criticism, right? That your generation gets too caught up in like the online drama.
Yeah,
Fair?
often-
Is it a fair criticism?
Oftentimes Gen Z gets kind of like the stereotype or the label of being, like you said, involved with drama, and specifically being just online warriors. They'll make an Instagram post or change their profile photo, but not really do any real work. And that is so incredibly not true. And the real Gen Z leaders who are doing the real work, oftentimes it's not trendy. Oftentimes it's not cable news. It's not flashy, and it's quiet. It's consistent, and oftentimes it's overlooked. And so when you have someone who does have a platform, someone who does have a following, someone who does have a presence as known as a Gen Zer who gets online and stirs up drama, you're fitting right into the stereotype and making it harder for those who are doing real work, who are not getting headlines or have a bunch of funding. You're making it harder for them to navigate these spaces.
When you look at the sort of generational changes in the Democratic Party, and we see this, every party deals with this. The Republicans, I think, are dealing with a similar thing as the older Republican Party, pro-business, pro-compromise, pro-freedom. The younger Trump Republican Party is more, isolationist, America first. There are louder, brasher, compromise, forget it, I want to win. How do you look at the generational tensions that you're seeing right now?
Right. And there's, as you were speaking, a quote came to mind by actually David Hogg, where he was saying, and I'm paraphrasing, but he was saying, Democrats have become the intolerant party, if you will. Snowflakes is the term of phrase. And because of that, young men specifically have turned to voting for Trump this most recent election because they feel they have to walk on eggshells. Otherwise, they're ostracized. And for me, I think that really calls the question, or begs the question, if you were ever progressive and for equity and for representation, if you can rationalize Trump, and if you could rationalize what he's doing because of the economy, or because Democrats are mean, or because Harris makes you feel uncomfortable. If that's the case, then you really need to do an internal evaluation on what your morals are. And I think that, like you said, as this generation comes of age, as any generation has, you're going to start to see these tensions. You're going to see Gen Z grow into who they are going to become. But Gen Z is the first majority minority generation, and most of Gen Z is still under 18. Most of Gen Z still has not voted. And so as I think more time passes, as more elections pass, we're definitely going to see truly what Gen Z values. And we're going to see that the Democratic Party is not snowflakes, but rather we have boundaries. We're not going to tolerate whatever statements are resulting in ostracization. If it's racism or sexism, we don't tolerate that. And that's always been what the morals of the Democratic Party are. And that aligns with the majority of Gen Z.
Haley Taylor Schlitz is with us. You are one of the first Gen Zers to graduate from law school, right?
Yes.
When you think about what you want in politics and in politicians that is maybe lacking or you're not seeing, what is that?
I do think that there is a generational gap. And I think that there have been a lot of Gen Zers who have spoken out about times where we felt left behind, or times where we felt that elected officials or their policies are not representing our generation. And I think, like I said, as we come of age, generations before us are going to start to acknowledge and listen more. I think that the approach that I wrote about in my column that Hogg has been taking on infighting and turning his fire inwards towards safe blue seats, when there are battleground states, there are battleground seats that make the difference between life and death, that make the difference between liberty and happiness and being deported, or that make the difference between women being put in jail for murder for a miscarriage, or voting rights as Trump attacks the 14th Amendment. And his most important thing is young people need to focus on getting laid, is not representative of what Gen Z stands for. So I do think that for me, I'm looking for generational connectedness. And I think a lot of the generations before us are looking for that too. Yeah. I think that they just heavily turn to one poster child because it's easy for cable news, rather than looking toward the Black and brown leaders in the communities who are doing the real work.
Yeah, there's no doubt that if you're like an older millennial or a younger Gen X who's like booking guests on TV, it's easy to have this is the sort of celebrity Gen Z rep. And it's harder to find you, right? I mean, it's a little more work, maybe.
And it begs the question.
Although
honestly,
I did it, so it's not that much work. Okay, it's
See?
not that much
Trailblazer.
work. It's very doable. Very
but
doable.
I really do think it begs the question too. Hogg didn't put himself in this position. Who brought up his name and brought him into these spaces, and how can we make sure they're more aware of the real community leaders and grassroots organizers who are doing the real work, not for ego or brand, but truly for community and progress?
Haley Taylor Schlitz is with us. I wonder, what you're talking about and that need for intergenerational divide or connection, rather. Here in our local communities, our local politics, we really see this tension playing out as well, where, and I don't know if the terminology is great, but it is, I think it's a shorthand that everyone sort of knows what you're talking about. So there's benefit to that. But in our cities, both Minneapolis and St. Paul, you have very progressive Democrats.
Right.
Some identify as Democratic Socialists of America.
Right.
And then you have sort of what are thought of as like more mainstream Democrats. Now, the way it gets discussed is like you'd think some of these mainstream Democrats are Trumpers.
Right.
You're like, well, no.
Right.
Like it's still no.
Right.
But when you look at that tension playing out, I mean, how do you see that resolving itself? Or is this just always going to be part of the tension?
I think that oftentimes we get caught up in trying to find one law or one rule or one thing that'll fix all the problems. I think as America diversifies and as we address different groups and different communities and different issues that we see in our country, there's going to be new issues that arise and more difficult conversations that need to be had. But I think the way we go about doing that is not attacking safe blue seats, not attacking leaders who have been allies and on our side for LGBTQ youth, against book banning, for Black and brown communities, against deportation and making local police officers agents of ICE, those kinds of things. This is the perfect wrong time and manner to be infighting and attacking our leaders. This is exactly what the Trump administration and Republicans want, is this infighting, this not only distraction from what they're doing and the damage they're causing, but further, instead of attacking people who are extremists and hurting human rights, but not even politics, basic human rights, instead of attacking them and spending that $20 million on that, we're infighting and we're bickering with each other. And that's the exact kind of problem. So to answer your question, I think there will always be difficult conversations that are being had, but this certainly is not the way to alleviate any of that or to potentially solve any problems that we're seeing.
Is there anybody out there that excites you when you think like, oh, here are some of the younger kind of voices that we all should be paying attention to?
I have my eyes on a lot of different people. I have my eyes on a lot of different people in Congress. We see young leaders in Congress like AOC, who is fighting the good fight and, on the floor representing the at least younger population. And
you want her to run for president?
I don't know.
You don't have to endorse. I mean, why not?
I don't know. It all depends on the.
Because I think she said she's out. She's not going to stay in the House, right?
Yeah. I've heard that rumor. I'm interested to see who's going to run for what. I love Governor Walz. We're interested in seeing. Have our eyes on him. I'm open-minded and community driven. And I think, again, your questions are the right questions. Your questions are, how can we get good people in these important spaces rather than who's, quote, asleep at the wheel and how can we get them replaced with younger people? I don't know who's judging whether or not you're asleep at the wheel. I don't know if he thinks that he's going to make that unilateral decision. I don't know that's a very dangerous, slippery slope. So your questions are the exact right questions. Who are we excited about? How can we support them? Who do we think is going to run for president? How can we get that started early? I think part of Harris's campaign is that she only had 100 days. How can we get this started early? How can we raise momentum and excitement? Those are the right questions.
I do think like once you're a certain age, you should have the sense to say it's time for another generation. And I don't know what that number is, but I don't know that our country's in a better place with a bunch of 70-year-olds running things. It's just, not to discount your experience, but like you did it. Give it to somebody else.
Yeah.
That said, am I walking away from this job when I'm 70? Well, no, probably
pass the torch. No, and that's exactly what intergenerational connectedness is. Like, we have the energy, we have the time, we have the motivation and the passion, and you have the expertise, you have the experience, you have the knowledge. That way we don't repeat mistakes, because that's a waste of time. And we're looking to make progress. This is a team effort. And this attack on, people, especially in safe blue seats, you're risking losing those seats.
Yeah.
And that is not what we need.
All right. My last question is, are there Republicans, young Republicans, where you look at and think like, I admire the way they're doing it. I think they're worth watching.
I think that it's important to be able to talk on both sides of the aisle, coming from Texas and being able to work with the governor, for example, on getting the Crown Act passed. I know how important it is, especially as the lines blur. And, Gen Z is the first majority minority generation. So we're going to see a lot more different perspectives and, demographics. I think it's important to have those conversations.
You mean like you're going to see a lot more black Republicans?
You're going to see that. You are.
I think that, to me, that's going to be the biggest thing that maybe the Democratic Party has been a little asleep at the wheel on, in that racial identity doesn't necessarily mean what political party.
It does not. And really,
Thank goodness.
Need to know how to, yes.
We're all Americans. Make up your mind.
Right. You need to know how to talk to people about the issues they care about and not be extremely polarizing. But at the same time, like I said earlier, if you can rationalize Trump, that's a different level. That's different. You're taking it to a different extent there. If you can vote for Trump because Harris makes you uncomfortable, or the Dems are snowflakes, or your feelings are hurt. Those things are not in the same vein. But to answer your question, no, I'm really excited to see how obviously the country progresses, how Minnesota progresses. I'm excited to work with people of all backgrounds to make progress, and instead of infighting and attacking.
Haley, fun to have you on. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Haley Taylor Schlitz. There's a name to watch. Keep an eye on her. How old are you?
22.
22. Why not? A lot of you guys. This a little shocker for a CCO radio. For a 22-year-old. You know more than I do. Let's have, let's hear from the 22-year-olds. That's what I'm saying. Thanks, Haley. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
3:50 back in just a minute on Drive Time.
Drive Time with DeRusha is hitting the off-ramp for a quick stop on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Hey, it's Jason DeRusha here. Take a look at your windows. If you're at home, take a look at your windows. If you're on the road or whatever, think about the windows in your house. Are they 20 years or older? Are they a little leaky? Are they creaky when you try to pull them up? Do you raise the window and it just slides right back down? You may need to replace your windows, and Window Nation is ready to come to your house. They are saving time, and they're going to save you money too. You get 60% off and a free entry door when you buy a house full of windows. No money down, no interest, no monthly payments until 2027. They know times are challenging. There's an uncertain environment with the economy, with the stock market, with interest rates on and on. So they're like, we got you until 2027. Now, their windows come with a lifetime warranty. They are built to keep your house cool during these hot summer days and keep the wind out on days like today. That is for sure. But they also are there for you when it comes to the winter and keep the cold air out. Make that smart investment now and reach out to the local team at Window Nation. They will come to your house. Well, you got to ask them. They're not just going to come to your house. 866-90-NATION or go online to windownation.com.
Spring is here, and the rush for outdoor furniture is coming up fast. Now is the time to upgrade so you can enjoy your space all season long and for seasons to come. By the Yard builds premium maintenance-free outdoor furniture, made to last and built to order right here in Minnesota. Backed by a 35-year warranty and priced direct to you with no middleman markup. Visit Woodbury, Maple Grove, or Jordan, or start your order at buytheyard.net. With By the Yard, life is better outdoors.
Meet Alan, who was diagnosed with sleep apnea.
I was what they call a mouth breather, and I would breathe at night with my mouth open.
And for about 8 years, Alan struggled with a CPAP machine. And then
I saw the Advent commercial, and I thought, well, what do you got to lose? This machine is miserable.
For most people, CPAP machines are miserable, but a simple breathing triangle solution from Advent can be life-changing.
And it really was, to me, it was amazing because I don't think I ever breathed that clear.
This is Dr. Buthan Kandula. After having one of Advent's simple breathing triangle procedures, people are amazed at how freely and clearly they can breathe.
I'm happy with the procedure. I'm very glad I did. I wish I would have done it 20 years ago. I could have avoided that machine I had to have laying next to the bed with the hose wrapped around my head.
Schedule your appointment at adventknows.com because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. AdventKnows.com. Most insurance accepted.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular to get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and now for a limited time, new customers can get their second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit a store near you, or consumercellular.com and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for autopay and e-billing. Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Now on CCO, let's do traffic and weather together. First, a check of the drive and what shape the roads are in.
Going to find some slowdowns heading into Burnsville. This update brought by Whole Foods Market Shop in store online. Heavy stuff in place south 35W past 98th Street, heading down to Highway 13. South 35E, noticing some flowing there as make way past Cedar Avenue. Up on the north side, you'll find things congested for 694, both directions between Highway 10 and Highway 100. West 36th ramp to Highway 280 southbound. That's currently closed due to some emergency road repair work. Save on stunning florals at Whole Foods Market. Prime members get 15 stem tulips for $9.99 each through May 13th. Surprise someone special to brighten their day while supplies last. Shop in store online. Terms apply. Trey Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Jason DeRusha here. The Canopy Group represents 16 different insurance companies, not just one. They give you options. Each year, they'll review your program so you don't have to, making sure you get the best coverage at the best price. Do like I did. Go to thecanopygroup.com.
Forecast time with an update on current conditions and a quick look at what's ahead the next few days.
All right, clear sky tonight, low of 63. The winds will calm down to 5 to 10 miles an hour. Tomorrow, almost 90. 89 degrees. Winds just 8 to 12. Wednesday, windy again. High of 88. My goodness. What a goofy week. Then it gets cooler, like 60 for the weekend. Right now, it is 85 degrees on CCO.
This is Drive Time with DeRusha.
Let's go through the list. What do you think of Jason?
Absolutely no.
Oh, wow. Kathleen, thank you very much.
On News Talk 830 WCCO.
Where are you on mulch? Where do you guys come down on mulch? This morning, we had a truck dump 10 yards of mulch. Dan, when I say 10 yards of mulch, I mean, again, I'm just validating your decision to live in an apartment.
Yep.
10. Like, can you even visualize 10 yards?
I can, and actually we were talking about this at the end of Chad's show on Friday. Big mulch has got everybody just completely scammed. And
you're anti-mulch?
I'm anti.
I used to have rock.
The creation of a product that needs to be replaced every other year because somebody's running a scam there.
Well,
there's got to be a way to create some sort of thing that you put it there. It's just there. We're done.
Yeah. Let me tell you, it's brutal.
Yeah.
Here's the picture. If you're streaming on YouTube, go to WCCO Radio. You can see the picture in front of my house. And this is just half of it. So they dump it right in the street, and then a guy with like a front end loader, because I'm not doing it. Now, our boss, Brad, came in whining about his lower back hurting because he spread 20 bags of mulch around the yard today.
So he got scammed and got hurt.
I will say every other year when I do this, I do think maybe I should put the rock back in. I paid a lot of money to have somebody take that rock out of there. And now I'm paying someone to spread wood chips around.
Big mulch, man. They're nefarious.
They got me. It looks good. My yard smells amazing. CBS News is straight ahead.
Do you know what the scariest sound to hear on a factory floor is? Silence. That means something somewhere broke. Production is stopped, and now you're paying your workers to wait while the team troubleshoots and tries to fix the problem. Finally, there's a proactive way to reduce equipment downtime, thanks to MaintainX. MaintainX is the asset management system that brings your maintenance downtime to zero. MaintainX lets you build preventative maintenance schedules, manage work orders in real time, and access the data you need to make better decisions. Downtime equals death in the production world, so make unplanned downtime a thing of the past. Try Maintain X for free. Control the daily operations of your business and transform your maintenance program by going to maintainx.com. That's maintain and the letter X.com.
Did you hear? A recent stash of $10 gold Liberty coins from the 1800s has been found. These gorgeous gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck in the late 1800s. And less than 200 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling this gold find an incredible opportunity. Call 1-800-969-0686 and you are guaranteed a $10 gold Liberty coin minted by the U.S. Mint in the 1800s. But with extremely limited availability, you must call now. These gold Liberty coins from the 1800s are still in uncirculated condition. That is history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-969-0686. Call now and you'll receive a free American Coin Collector's Bonus Package, a $40 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-969-0686 now to secure your $10 gold Liberty coins dated from the 1800s before they sell out. That's 1-800-969-0686.
The voice of the Twin Cities, Minnesota, and the upper Midwest. News Talk 830 WCCO. 1029 KMNB HD2, Minneapolis, St. Paul. This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Cammie McCormick. Investors on Wall Street were very happy about the 90-day truce between the U.S. and China in the trade war. The Dow finished up 1,100 points. Analyst Michael Farr.
I think 100% of this rally is enthusiasm over the relief in trade and tariff.
CBS's Kelly O'Grady says the enthusiasm among business owners may be short-lived.
These folks are planning months and months in advance. They're already planning for the holiday season. So you have businesses who are very uncertain. You also have a 30% tariff that's still in place, which is going to be, potentially passed down to consumers. It's not 145%. And then you think more broadly about these negotiations. We have been here before.
In a goodwill gesture, Hamas released its last surviving American-Israeli hostage in Gaza today, Edon Alexander from New Jersey. Reporter Marla Diamond is in his hometown of Tenafly.
The large crowd waved Israeli flags as word of Edon's release became official. Michael Burke has had a sign in his front yard for the past 19 months.
And on the sign, it crosses off. He was taken when he was 19. He's in captivity when he was 20. And now he's 21 years old. I mean, something like that's just incomprehensible.
The joy here tempered with sadness for the remaining hostages.
Some are alive, some are dead, and we just want this over already.
Marla Diamond for CBS News in Tenafly, New Jersey.
Before leaving for the Middle East, President Trump signed an executive order giving drug companies a 30-day deadline to lower the cost of prescription drugs for Americans. Julie Rovner of KFF Health News.
In theory, something like this could work, but the president doesn't have the authority to do it. It would have to be something that Congress would do, and it would be over the vehement objections of the prescription drug industry.
Trump also today rejected ethics concerns about his plans to accept the gift of a jumbo jet from Qatar's royal family to be used as Air Force One.
If that happened, that would
be a stupid person to say, oh, no, we don't want a free plane. We give free things out. We'll take one, too. And it helps us out.
Trump is waiting for the delayed delivery of 2 new Boeing jets. The president says he could fly to Turkey if it would help push forward the Ukraine-Russia ceasefire talks this week, but it's not even clear Vladimir Putin will show up. Ukraine's president says he will be there. CBS's Ramy Inocencio.
If that happened, that would be momentous, but it would also be tense. The last time they met was back in December 2019, more than 5 years ago. Frankly, in no uncertain terms, everyone can see it. They frankly hate each other.
This is CBS News.
Sponsored by Progressive. Protect your auto, home, and business with Progressive and get 24/7 coverage. See if you can save at Progressive.com. That's Progressive.com.
Now from Minnesota's radio station, let's get you caught up with Minnesota's latest headlines and biggest stories on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Sunny skies, 86 degrees at 4:03. I'm Laura Oakes. 2 large wildfires are currently burning in northern Minnesota as red flag warnings are in effect across nearly all of Minnesota and much of western Wisconsin.
The conditions are ripe for a red flag warning.
with high temperatures, gusty winds, and relative low humidity.
We're just in a place where wildfires, if they do spark, they're going to take and spread rapidly.
Leanne Landenberg is with the Interagency Fire Center. They're advising people not to burn any debris in their yard, and campfires are discouraged.
Even parking on grass in these kind of conditions, that grass can quickly catch a spark and carry off into a wildfire.
She says right now, 80 of Minnesota's 87 counties are under a red flag warning. Susie Jones, News Talk 830 WCCO.
In addition to our high fire danger, we're also under an air quality alert until 9 tonight due to an increase in ground ozone. The MPCA's Matt Terrellson says this is different than later in the year when smoke from wildfires usually becomes a problem.
Both equally as impactful and equally as important, but they tend to occur at different parts of the year. So the first one will be, keeping an eye out for ozone, and then as we get into the summer, it'll likely transition to more of a threat from the wildfire smoke.
The alert is at the orange level, which means the air quality is unhealthy for sensitive groups, which include people with heart or lung disease, older adults, children, and people with diabetes. The Minneapolis City Council will consider a proposal to impose a 2% fee on hotel rooms in the city, with proceeds going to promote tourism. The funds would be managed by a group of hotel operators and would go toward marketing, workforce development, and special projects. The council will take public testimony at its May 20th meeting. State Patrol Day at the state capitol allowed the agency to show off its newest piece of hardware.
State Patrol Chief Pilot Craig Bent lifted off the new twin-engine helicopter this morning from Holman Field. 2 minutes later, he was over the Capitol. And after 2 laps around the dome, he made a perfect landing on the lawn in front of the building.
It was a beautiful day, a little bit of south wind coming in for us, and just a beautiful sunny Minnesota day before the heat kicks in.
Was it any difficulty landing in this spot here?
Only because they decided to put the crane out over on this other building that they're doing some construction. Helicopters, we have the obstacles that we have to work with. So a little bit of an obstruction with that, but otherwise no problems.
This gives the State Patrol 3 helicopters, providing more range across Minnesota with unique hoisting capabilities.
The hoist on the side of the aircraft is able to lift 600 pounds, and so we're able to rescue individuals stuck in the woods or assist ground personnel with extricating people out.
Lieutenant Benz flew the new chopper up from Texas, arriving here just last Friday. At the state capitol, Al Schock, News Talk 830 WCCO.
And finally, a helpful sinus strategy if all of our pollen blowing around has you stuffy and sneezing lately.
The sinus rinse I compare to brushing teeth. Just like brushing teeth, you keep the mouth clean, the area clean. Same way when you do the sinus rinse, you keep the sinuses clean, so that the allergens don't have enough time to interact with the lining of the nose to create all the allergy symptoms.
Allina Health allergist Dr. Premod Kelkar adds that showering at night, especially if you've been outdoors, can do a lot to remove pollen and reduce those allergies.
Do you have allergies? Do you have any of these?
Yes, I do get the seasonal.
And do you flush out the schnoz?
I do. I do that anyway, because
that's a standard deal?
Yeah, neti pot.
Every day?
Almost every day, probably 4 times a week. Yeah.
Really?
It just.
Do you do this, Dan?
Yes.
Is there something
I don't do it with that regularity, but I do it.
Yeah.
Especially if I start to feel a little something coming on. That's the first thing I do.
It flushes out the bad bacteria and viruses and stuff that gets you sick, and it's good. Feels good too.
The idea of shoving something up my nose and flushing it is not appealing.
Takes a little getting used to, but it's better than the alternative.
I feel like I'd be like snorting it right up, be a train wreck.
You get the hang of it.
Did stuff like go down the nasal pipes before? Like when you snort something in?
Well, you know what I mean? Like,
well, I probably shouldn't
when
be
you
talking
do a
about
neti
snorting.
pot, you lean your head over to one side, you pour the water in one nostril, it goes up kind of into your head and down the other side and drains out. And then you do the other side and it goes up and down the opposite way.
This sounds made up. This is
It's
real?
not. It's good. It's a good thing.
All right. Well,
4:08.
maybe I'll flush my nose tonight.
I think you should. I think you should try it. It takes some practice. You could stand over your bathtub until you get the hang of it.
Oh, it sounds so appealing.
4:08 on CCO.
CCO. Let's do traffic and weather together. First, a check of the drive and what shape the roads are in.
Brought to you by American Mirror Coin and Collectibles. Find them at AmericanMirrorCoinAndCollectibles.com. Ramp still closed west 36 to southbound Highway 280 for emergency road repair work. Could be the rest of the rush hour with that ramp closure in place. It looks like more equipment's arriving on the scene right now as we speak. Traveling along Highway 100 northbound, some slowdowns past 394. 169 is jammed up both directions between Highway 7 and Highway 55. When a loved one passes or it's time to settle an estate, the valuables left behind can feel overwhelming. At American Rare Coin and Collectibles in Bloomington, to help navigate these moments with clarity and care. Peace of mind starts with your appointment. AmericanRareCoinAndCollectibles.com. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Chanhassen Dinner Theaters brings back its most popular show of all time, Grease. It's a high-octane party that'll rock your socks off. Order today. Visit chanhassendt.com. Be there or be square.
Forecast time with an update on current conditions and a quick look at what's ahead the next few days.
Brought to you by the Chanhassen Dinner Theaters. Catch Grease on stage through October 4th. And here's WCCO TV Chief Meteorologist Chris Schaefer.
The moon is full tonight. Watch out for werewolves. Another warm night, 63 the overnight low. Plenty of sunshine tomorrow, another breezy day with a high up around 89. Sunny and 88 on Wednesday. It's Thursday and Friday. We finally get some rain around here. Our highs will fall back to the 60s and stay there through the weekend.
Sunny right now, 86 at News Talk 830 WCCO.
Where even anti-socials can stay social. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. News Talk 830 WCCO. No suit, no tie, just DeRusha. It's Drive Time. Live from the WCCO studios, high atop the Odyssey Tower.
Ladies and gentlemen, please make some noise.
I'm super excited to introduce to you
Jason DeRusha.
All right, here we go. It is Monday. We are your nasal rinse leaders. Go shower that pollen. Man, I got to tell you, I didn't want to really lay into it. But
I think you kind of did.
Man, people with allergies just, you guys think the whole world has allergies.
Here we go.
Like, get over yourself. Like, oh, you've got a little sneezy, you got a little scratchy. Back when I was let's bring in Kate Raddatz to this. You can play the open. You want to hit it?
Sure, here we go.
Go ahead. Here's some.
She's an Emmy Award-winning reporter.
Yeah, I love it.
She's a senior public relations pro. She can belt out the national anthem better than most.
It's a process. Like, you got to find someone to do it with because it's not fun by yourself. So I don't know.
But maybe the most important role she plays coming at the stories of the day from the perspective of a millennial mom. Let's all learn a thing or two from the mind and filter of Kate Raddatz.
Yeah, there you go. There's what's happening.
We pay the big voice guy, so I have to play the open. Kate, first of all, do you have allergies?
I do. Not as severe as I don't know. I just grew out of them or something, but they were really bad when I was little, but I do a little bit. Yes.
Now, back in the TV days, I feel like we had to do anytime like one of our managers who sneezed because of walking around the lakes. We had to do a story about allergies.
Okay.
And all the time it's like, oh, our allergies worse than usual. What do we do about the allergy? It's the same damn answer every year. The allergists are like, I don't know, like people are just bigger whiners today than they used to be. Your thoughts?
It is very windy. It is very windy. It makes the pollen blow around, I will say. It's probably one of those seasonal, repeat stories that everyone will watch and click on when it's on Facebook. So it keeps coming back, So
I just think allergy people should stop their bitching and moaning,
Do you have allergies?
No.
Okay.
Clearly not. I mean, Kate, you've known me long enough. If I had allergies, we'd be doing a 10-part like days and days of guests on this. That's how it is.
Yes.
It doesn't affect me, so I don't care.
That's right. Yes. I don't know. Yeah, mine is not severe. So I don't care too much, but it sounds rough.
Neti
sounds
pots?
really
Are you
rough.
on the neti pot deal?
I can't say I've ever done a neti pot
Yeah.
ever.
Now, a
Mm-mm.
texter says because the neti pot sounds absurd. You're going to take this little weird looking pot contraption,
It's a little scary.
right? And you're going to
Yeah.
heat it up, and you're going to put in a little bit of salt, and then you're going to
It's like a saline mixture, not
right.
That sounds so gross. It sounds so gross.
When I
And then you're gonna
describe it
pour
to
it up
people,
your nose,
Yeah.
even gross.
The way I describe it to people is imagine self waterboarding and then just back it off like a little bit, and then there you go. That's basically what you're doing.
Too much.
But a
Too
texter
much.
points out, imagine the first dentist trying to convince people it's a good idea to wrap string around their fingers and then scrape their teeth. I suppose it's equally ridiculous. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm not a big fan of flossing either, to be honest with you.
Well, you got, yes. I used to not be good at that, and I am now pristine with it, knowing how important it is. So, yes, very good with the flossing.
Who convinced you that it's important?
Oh, that would be my dentist when I win every year. And I did the thing where like 2 days before you go, you would floss extra. As if
Oh yeah.
that would
You got to
make up
cram.
for it.
You got to cram for it. That's right.
The 6 months, I honestly, and I will say, when I worked nights and news, I was never worse with flossing and brushing my teeth, because what would I do when I got home at 11:30? I just wanted to collapse. I'm like, I'm not going to floss my teeth tonight. I'll do it tomorrow. So I would get 2 days before my dentist appointment, and I would just floss like crazy. I'm like, yes, I have been flossing. I have been flossing a lot. And they're like, Kate, we know you're not flossing.
I always hate when they ask the question because they know the answer. And my dentist, well, let me tell you about a little dentist story, Kate.
Oh boy.
Because making a dental appointment is like, I don't know, it's like trying to get a backstage pass with Bruce Springsteen or something.
Oh,
Beyonce.
Well, you got to schedule it way out.
Yes,
way out.
which of course you do, and I do.
Yes.
After my
Okay.
visit, I make the appointment, and
Okay.
then last week my dentist's office calls me up, and they're like, "I know you have an appointment for tomorrow. We have to cancel it." And I don't even remember. From that is when I stop listening because
Sure.
then I start getting worked up. And because I know it's going to be like, well, you can get in 3 months.
Or at 5 p.m.
Yes. There were.
Yes.
I was offered it. Well, could you come in at 4 p.m. today? I'm like
Yes.
a little locked up between
no.
3 and 6,
Yeah.
a little bit. Although I wonder if I could get my teeth cleaned here. Could we turn this into a live broadcast? Maybe there's an angle here for sure. But it is, and I get it. I understand the issue. Like the issue is there aren't enough hygienists, and they don't have enough of a backup person where they can come and take that shift. So if they have to cancel, then you're like, good luck trying to get on the schedule. I don't know. It's to me, but you're mad. You're irrationally mad, and I was mad.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm going to show them. You know what I'll do when I go to my appointment in June? I'm going to treat it like I treat going to the car wash. I'm going to have probably 3 or 4 Oreo cookies before I come.
Oh.
The Oreo.
It's true though. You do. I mean, I feel I always try to have just perfect teeth when I go, because I'm like, who wants to look in your mouth if you've just eaten a sandwich? Or yes, that would be. Don't do that. They work so hard. Being a dentist would be so hard. Talk about a job. I'm glad we have dentists because I could not do that job.
Wait a minute.
You're never giving people good news.
Absolutely not. Being a dentist is among the easiest of the medical professions to be.
Among the easiest,
yes.
sure.
Being a hygienist, that is hard work. You're in there scraping away people.
Oh, true. I see what you're saying. Yes.
What does the dentist
has to
come
give
in?
The bad news. Oh, they do the serious stuff. I mean, think about it. They have. Well, I guess I'm thinking also. What's the other one I'm thinking of? And I forget who does.
Oh, the endodontic surgeon.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, they
make great money, but you're always telling people bad news.
That's fair.
So,
that's hard stuff. I just think my dentist, and I hope she's not listening because she's very
Probably
nice.
is. Okay.
But her gig seems so simple to me. So the hygienist does all the hard work, scraping away like my plaque because I'm stubborn and refuse to floss. scrubbing away the Oreo cookies I ate because I thought, like a car wash, I should bring the dirtiest mouth possible in for a cleaning. And then the dentist comes in and is like a little poke on the top of the molar. And she's like, looks good. And then she tells me about what vacation she's going on next.
This
feel
tells me you've never had a dental emergency, though.
No.
That's what that. Okay, so see, I have had a dental emergency, and you want a good dentist if you do.
Yeah, I suppose that's true.
And then their job, you love them because if you've never had dental pain before that has to be taken care of, you're like, yep, now I love you. You're my best friend. I will listen to everything you say. But I agree. On the daily, you hear that about a lot of nurses and doctors too. But the doctors do the big time stuff, and the nurses do the everyday. That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
Right. So.
Well, I've upset the allergy sufferers. I've maligned the dentists. Who
Good
will?
luck at your dentist appointment. You're not going to get any Novocaine now. I mean.
Who should we go after next? Find out. The worst Mother's Day. Why don't we go after America's husbands and children? The worst Mother's Day gifts. New poll. We'll talk about it with Kate next.
More Drive Time with DeRusha is on the way following these messages on News Talk 830 WCCO.
All right, it's Jason here from my friends at J.H. and Sons at the Galleria. And let me tell you, this weekend, I was hosting two charity fundraisers, raising some money, good causes. And at both of these, I was wearing new outfits that I got from J.H. and Sons. J.H. and Sons at the Galleria, actually at one fundraiser for the Children's Hospital at the University of Minnesota. My friend Dan comes up, and Dan lives in Sioux Falls. He's like, hey, we're both wearing J.H. and Sons. J.H. and Sons at the Galleria is your home for premium menswear. This is luxury fabrics, great design, incredible materials, specialty men's clothing shop. They're in Sioux Falls, they're in Omaha, and they're in Edina at the Galleria. Unbelievable service. You will be taken care of in this beautiful store at J.H. and Sons. If you've got a special event coming up, stop in. Say hi to Kevin. Say hi to Dean. Say hi to Bryce. If you've got a need to upgrade your wardrobe, maybe you had a big promotion, you want something special, go see the team at J.H. and Sons. You can sign up on their website for their email list at jhandsons.com.
At the University of Minnesota, our goal is to make sure what happens in Minnesota doesn't stay in Minnesota, because the discoveries we're making have implications for the health of the world. From the cancer-detecting AI model we built in Rochester, to how we're redefining mental health in Morris, to breakthroughs we're making in Crookston, Duluth, and the Twin Cities. Our discoveries start here, but they make the world healthier everywhere. The University of Minnesota, driven to discover.
Experience Wheel of Fortune live at Treasure Island. You could be selected to play the game for your chance to win incredible prizes when the iconic show rolls into the island on Saturday and Sunday, October 18th and 19th. Get your tickets now at ticasino.com.
Most data breaches don't come from hackers. They come from old laptops and phones sitting in closets. Studies reveal that these neglected devices are a leading cause of data breaches. Recycling your electronics protects your data and the planet. At Electronics Recycling of Minnesota, we offer free, secure recycling services for both individuals and businesses, with certified data destruction options available as well. Protect your data. Protect the environment. Learn more at ecyclemn.com.
When you're injured, you need a team that knows how to win. Postman Law delivers. We've recovered over $3 billion for people just like you. Don't get tied up in paperwork or pushed around by insurance companies. Call 844-POSTMAN and let us simplify the process. With Postman Law on your side, you'll feel empowered every step of the way. Call 844-POSTMAN. Postman delivers. It's what we do. Offices, Minneapolis.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers. So don't wait. If you owe $10, $20, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-207-4545. That's 800-207-4545. Once again, that's 800-207-4545.
This is Drive Time with DeRusha.
Not for me. I mean, this, not for me.
I mean, it is horrifying.
On News Talk 830 WCCO.
Now, who's hot, who not? Tell me who rock, who's
Mother's Day yesterday, Kate. Happy Mother's Day.
Thank you.
Was it nice?
It was. I mean, it was beautiful outside. So yes, I mean, I got to spend time outside with my family. So yes, it was very nice.
You
guys have a
hesitated.
nice
There was
day?
a little hesitation there. It sounded like maybe it wasn't that nice.
No, it was super nice. I just mean, the way I like to spend my Mother's Day is how I get to spend a lot of my days with them. So it was very nice. Yes.
Good.
How about you?
Ours was very low key. Also, I tried to take some inspiration from the Kate Raddatz approach.
Really?
To co-parenting, where I handled everything for the family gathering. So I invited Alyssa's mom and dad and
Nice.
Alyssa's sister, and I didn't ask anybody what they wanted to eat. I just went to Kramarczuk's and bought some sausages, and I went to the store and got vegetables. I went to Surdyk's. Got the cheese. I made the cheese platter. Like, I just took care of everything. That's what I did.
Did she notice?
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, the hard thing is she still kept getting up to try to help do the dishes. And I was like, stop it. And she said, it's my house. I'm like, okay. Okay. But that's what that was sort of my
I
idea.
think that's great.
But you
I think
always
that's
talk about
great.
that moms always have to do the mental work of parenting. So I was like, all right, I'm going to try to take that off the table.
I love that. I mean, I talk about it. I talk about it with my friend. It is absolutely something we are always working on. So yes, I think that's awesome. Yeah, I think that's really cool.
Worst Mother's Day gifts. Number 6, gas station flowers. I don't know that I agree with that. I think it's fine.
I guess I don't know if I'm sure I've gotten gas station flowers or flowers to me. I don't think I would care.
I bought, where I was in the morning yesterday, I was at Trader Joe's.
They have great flowers.
Well, everyone knows. It was so crowded.
Oh, it was insane. I'm
so
sure.
crowded.
Yes.
But really fun. Leftover holiday chocolates. Does anyone give
who does that?
Leftover Valentine's Day chocolates? This
Happy
is
Halloween.
very strange. Unsolicited self-help books.
That would not go over. No, that would not go over well with me. That I would not enjoy.
No, I think you need to be very cautious about shopping for the self-help section.
Yes.
Not good.
On Mother's Day.
A cookbook, and specifically a how to cook cookbook.
That does not bother me at all. At all. I don't know how to cook, so great.
Yeah,
I would love
then
it.
for you it would be good. Cleaning supplies.
Nope. No, unless it was like a nice organic, that might be nice. Something
What's
new
a nice
to add.
organic? You're so millennial. Oh my God. I mean, do I want cleaning supplies? No, that's very insulting. It is like, here, go clean something up. Unless if it were maybe from Branch Basics, something nice and organic.
Target.
Yeah.
Oh, very funny.
Number 1, weight loss products. No, that's a hell no. A scale? How about a new scale? No.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Men, we struggle with gifts, it's not.
Oh, especially Mother's Day. My dad is so easy to buy. My mom, I used to always get her a gift card to a nail salon because we go to the same nail salon. I'm like, oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I don't like giving you money. It just feels weird to have your kid give your parent money. I would rather give her something she needs, or she wants. I don't know, or have my kids make her something cute. I said, I don't want to do gift cards anymore. I just don't.
Since 2014, there are 4 baby names that have been number 1 or number 2. Just 4 names kind of swapping out for 11 years. For the last 6 years, the same girl and boy names have been number 1, which this is the list from the Social Security Administration. Pretty good data point.
Okay.
Do you know these? The number 1
Gotta
girl.
I haven't looked at it. I'm assuming Olivia is up there.
Olivia is number 1.
Okay.
Boy name, number 1 boy name.
Ooh, I don't know.
Do you know, Dan? No. Liam.
Oh, okay. Yep, that makes sense. Sure.
The other names that have been in the mix, can you guess the second girl name that has been?
Got to be an E name. Every girl in my kids' classes is an E, like Ella, Emmy.
You're right.
Evelyn.
Emma.
Okay.
You're right in the wheelhouse with the E name. I wonder what that is. Like starting with.
They're lovely names,
They
but
are.
I'm telling you, it's like half their class.
Yes. Number 2 for boys, Noah.
Oh, interesting.
So,
okay, I don't know a lot of Noahs.
Little biblical name. But Emma, Noah, Olivia, and Liam have been the top 4. It is we've talked before about the fact that the frequency of those names showing up, even though they're number 1, it's a smaller percentage because everybody's so creative. Plus, like, obviously, we have a lot more international names in the mix that were not in the mix 40 or 50 years ago. But, like, have we just tapped out on ideas? Why do you think we've locked in on this, like, Olivia Liam situation for the last 11 years?
I don't know. I mean, even though I only know one Olivia. So I don't know. I feel like even if you try to pick, I mean, a lot of parents want to pick a creative name, but they don't want it to be a weird name. Not everybody, but and you can never know if that's even going to be unique. So some people say, I just want to go with something classic. My name is Catherine, was like the most popular name of the year I was born. There's only 70 Katies out there. So, you don't, sometimes you want a classic name and you don't want to make it too weird. You're worried about your kid being made fun of, I think. So, you can't go wrong with the classic. Nobody's going to make fun of a Noah. So
in Minnesota, Charlotte, and these are outdated. This is 2023. So the year before. We don't have the state-by-state data yet for 2024, but Charlotte, Olivia, Evelyn, and then Emma. But if you were to guess, like, how many Charlottes were born in 2023?
Oh, I have no idea.
Pick
but
a number between
100
and 1,000.
In the U.S.?
In Minnesota.
Oh, in Minnesota. I mean, I'd say closer to 1,000.
262. That's it.
Oh, okay.
So, if every town
I
gets
know a
one.
lot of Charlottes. Yeah, way more than Olivia's. So
Olivia, 239. Yeah, just not that many if you think about it. The number 1, only 200 of them.
No.
All right, Catherine, we appreciate you. Katie,
thank you.
Katie, Kate, Catherine. She's got all
Katie,
the names.
Kate, Catherine. I'll respond to all. It's
all
fine.
the names called.
Just confused all the listeners. Yeah.
Thanks, Kate.
Yep.
432. A Republican wants to ban those hilarious highway road signs. I agree, maybe for the first time in modern memory, that I agree with this particular Republican state representative. We'll talk about it when we come back.
Jason DeRusha and DriveTime needs to make a brief pit stop on News Talk 830 WCCO. In a world of small talk and hot dish diplomacy, one team dares to go where others won't. We sent our intrepid reporters deep undercover into the wilds of Minnesota. You know, the cul-de-sacs, bait stores, and coffee shops, all to uncover what Minnesotans are really saying about the issues of the day.
Checked my 401k this morning. Now I just call it a 201k.
We have 2 seasons, winter, and I hope your shocks are under warranty.
Where the mosquitoes are faster than my Wi-Fi. Real talk from the land of 10,000 opinions. Happens every day on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Heading out for the weekend? Lucky you.
Don't forget to stop at DFLer Meats of Pierce for some melt-in-your-mouth moments.
High quality beef.
Fresh and smoked sausages and brats.
Home smoked bacon.
All natural chicken.
A great selection of fish and seafood.
Visit us at DFLermeats.com.
We've got the cuts that'll make your meal.
Call to order ahead and pick up on your way to the lake.
You'll be the hit of the party.
No meal's complete without DFLer Meats
of Pierce.
Sports betting is everywhere, and for some, it's a problem. If you're finding it harder to stop or betting more than you can afford, you're not alone. At Project Turnabout, we understand the risks of problem gambling. Our specialized treatment services can help you regain control with confidential support, expert counseling, and a proven path to recovery. And best of all, gambling treatment is free for Minnesota residents. Call Project Turnabout today at 1-800-862-1453 or visit projectturnabout.org.
Imagine placing an investment or trade without fear. Knowing that big institutions have taken the same trade as you, pushing the price higher, which only they can do. You get to ride the wave of institutional demand. If not, your plan will protect you from the downside. This is how our students are taught to invest in trade. Right now, you can sign up for a free investing class where we'll outline our strategy for following the smart money. Text investing to 210-210. We'll also review strategies for growing a retirement portfolio, how professionals profit when stocks are falling, and how to protect your investments against inflation. With a 25-year history, local classrooms, and one-on-one support, you're not alone. And now it's your turn. Sign up for a free investing class today. Text investing to 210-210 or go to learnwithota.com.
Do you know what the scariest sound to hear on a factory floor is? Silence. That means something somewhere broke. Production has stopped, and now you're paying your workers to wait while the team troubleshoots and tries to fix the problem. Finally, there's a proactive way to reduce equipment downtime, thanks to MaintainX. MaintainX is the asset management system that brings your maintenance downtime to zero. MaintainX lets you build preventative maintenance schedules, manage work orders in real time, and access the data you need to make better decisions. Downtime equals death in the production world, so make unplanned downtime a thing of the past. Try MaintainX for free. Control the daily operations of your business and transform your maintenance program by going to maintainx.com. That's maintain in the letter X.com.
Hey, Jordana, I'm Brian. I'm 58 and single. I have a house, a bunch of investments. I have a sister I'm close to, but no kids or anything tying me down, so I never really worried about planning for the future. Recently, a friend of mine passed away unexpectedly without a will or a trust, and it created a huge mess for the family he left behind. I don't want to be a burden on my sister. I want to be prepared. So why should I choose Gutman Law?
Hi, Brian. Your instincts are correct. If you were to do nothing, the state would decide who's in charge and how to distribute your assets, which is probably not what you want. And your sister will have a lot to sort out by herself. Now, this is the reason why I chose Gutman Law. My family, Matt and Jamie, were so sensitive to the nuances of my situation after a divorce. An estate plan is more than just names and numbers on a piece of paper. It's family. Making it easy on them is what matters most. From healthcare directives to wills to living trusts, Gutman Law can help you determine what type of planning makes sense to protect you and your loved ones. 612-895-1616 or go to gutmanlaw.com. Gutman Law, giving you peace of mind today for tomorrow.
Now on CCO, let's do traffic and weather together. First, a check of the drive and what shape the roads are in.
Slow drive on 494 westbound as move across the Minnesota River Bridge, making your way toward Highway 5. Opens up only slow again as you make way past Cedar Avenue, heading out to Highway 100. The crosstown is slow both directions as you make way between Tracy and Portland Avenue. 94 westbound, watching some slowdowns there past Brockton, heading up to 101 in Rogers. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
In its centennial year, the DAV of Minnesota remains dedicated to helping thousands of veterans access the benefits they've earned. And you can make a difference. Volunteer to transport veterans, advocate for improved programs, or donate today at davmn.org.
Forecast time with an update on current conditions and a quick look at what's ahead the next few days.
Weather is brought to you by DAV of Minnesota. Here's Chris Schaefer.
Clear sky tonight. You'll see that bright full moon, 63 the overnight low. It stays warm the next couple of days. Mostly sunny, highs in the upper 80s, breezy both days. Finally, some rain on Thursday. Those showers linger into Friday. Our highs are going to slip back to the 60s, which is just below average, and they'll stay there through the weekend.
Right now, it is windy, but it is warm. 85 degrees. That wind is blowing at 13 miles an hour on CCO.
This is Drive Time with DeRusha. Video streaming live on YouTube and always on your radio at News Talk 830 WCCO.
Wearing a seatbelt, very demure, very mindful. Don we now our fastened seatbelt. Fa la 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 la. Autocorrect does not work on crashes. Buzzing is for bees. Don't drink and drive. Maybe you've seen some of these. So funny. Highway signs. The president and the federal highway authorities have spoken out against this sort of ridiculous trend that every highway authority that has a digital display signage that everybody seems to use, right? In Minnesota, our highway authorities, back when the feds said, like, we don't want to phase out these signs that use pop culture references. The state has said, no, our signs are safe. We're just trying to have a fun way to get the public, especially children, involved in road safety. There is a state representative, a state senator, Steve Drizkowski, Republican from Mazeppa, who offered an amendment to a transportation funding bill that would mandate that MnDOT use digital road signs that convey a clear and simple message without, and I'm reading from the amendment, without witticisms, colloquialisms, neologisms, portmanteaus, hashtags, electronic or internet shorthand or slang, popular culture references that target or are comprehended by a limited segment of the driving population, or any other message relying on hidden meanings, targeted cultural knowledge, or unconventional syntax.
You know what that screams? That screams, I'm old and I don't get it. Because I'm mad because I don't get what the signs are talking about. So I want them to stop.
A neologism? Is that right? Neologism? It is a newly coined word. So like selfie, doom scroll. Am I saying it right? Neologism.
Neologism. Neologism.
So I was all fired up about this topic. And I was going to come in here so hot. Because, like, Steve Drizkowski is a noted troll. He's a legislative troll. He proposes stuff that is crazy, but it goes nuts on the internet. And he has a good time. We all have some fun. His voters are like, yeah, we like it. Go get him. I agree with the theory of this. I do. I hate these signs. I think it's so stupid. Like, how about you leave the jokes to me? All right?
That's really your objection here, right?
Hook.
Nobody's coming to you to ask, hey, Jason, what do you think we should put on the road sign?
I mean, look
then
at
you'd be all for it.
If you're watching on YouTube at the WCCO Radio YouTube channel, you click on live. If you miss it, you can rewind and go right to it. Hook, line, and blinker? Come on.
The fishing opener? Come on, that's cute.
Is it?
Yes.
These are awful.
Plus, if you just do standard messaging, guess what happens? Nobody reads them.
How about this?
Nobody reads them.
Everybody should be driving. No one should be reading the
but you got to make
sign.
communication. I mean, you got the boards there to communicate traffic issues. You might as well use them for something that's useful.
I don't like the funny stuff. I don't like the funny stuff. And I know what you're thinking. I'm familiar with your show. You clearly don't like the funny stuff. Can't we just have the sign say like 10 minutes to get to St. Cloud?
They do when it's relevant.
Why can't it always say that? Why does it have to
It's
be
not always
like
relevant.
drive time is always relevant.
During drive time, it is, right. But they're not always,
I mean,
what are you going to do? You want the signs to say it's going to be 3 minutes someplace you already know it's going to be 3 minutes to?
Sure.
I mean, that doesn't provide you any information.
I would prefer that.
It doesn't provide you a mid-drive chuckle or chortle.
I mean, if you need a mid-drive chortle, what the hell is the Adam and Jordana show for? Okay?
That'll be a liner in 3, 2, and 1.
I mean, you know that like these transportation nerds sitting in an office coming up with these signs are like high-fiving themselves when they're like, Don, we now are fastened seatbelt. Bazinga! We got him. Stupid. It's stupid. I know it's harm. Does anyone like these? 651-461-9226. Because I think the answer is no. Like, yeah.
No, plenty of people like these.
No.
You watch our text line.
No.
People will come in and be like me and say, no, these are clever. They're funny. They can get your attention, which is the point. They're good.
How many people's behavior do you think has ever been impacted by these signs?
I mean, probably 0.
So shut her down.
Here they come. I told you.
Come on.
I told you. You are just cranky about this.
Well,
and I say you're cranky about this because nobody's asked you to help write them. And if they did, you'd be the biggest supporter of these things in the history of these things.
Groundhog says it's still winter. Use caution. That these are all real MnDOT, and I'm putting them all up on the screen if you're watching on YouTube, and there's like the scroll bar at the bottom that has the hours so you can go back. Now I do like the left justified pass on left, right justified drive on right. That's pretty clever.
Geez, DeRusha, how old are you? Hey, Grandpa, you want the radio to just be news, weather, and traffic too?
I want people to be able to laser focus on the radio to make sure that they're at.
I was going to say, if you say I'm
830.
driving, I have driven with you. If you say laser focused on driving, I know that's hypocrisy.
I mean, mostly I'm upset that these jokes aren't that funny. They're not that good, right?
I think you're not upset about this distracting anybody. You're just upset that you think you can come up with better material.
Don't snap your friends. Snap your belt. Come on. Buckle up. What do you think the punchline would be from buckle up?
Buttercup.
Windshields hurt.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's a little dark.
I mean, that's true.
That's a little dark.
It is a little dark.
Yeesh.
Jason, you're just jealous.
I'm just saying, I'm calling out 2 problems with this. 1, failure in being funny. 2, failure in achieving any result. Let's keep driving serious, Dan.
Yeah, okay.
Not wearing your seatbelt, what's holding you back? Yeah, here we
Get
go.
it?
How many millions are being spent on this? Time for some Elon. That's right. Let's doge the crap out of this program. Well, Racket, our friends at Racket MN, did a story on this, and they said it's like 2 meetings a year.
Yeah.
And all the different agencies get to weigh in, which is classic Minnesota.
It is.
Here's MnDOT. Here's the State Patrol. What kind of party is this?
You know where they're
You're
missing
looking
out.
for like the writer's room.
You know where they're missing out. They don't let us vote on it like they do the plow names.
Oh, that'll be
Can you
next.
imagine?
That'll be next. Let's go to the comedic sensibilities of the general public and see what they think. So you get like, and even Iowa gets a vote. Even Iowa gets a vote, which is outrageous. Like Iowa should have no say. If they don't want us to drive distracted, why do they distract us with those corny signs? That's exactly my point.
Look, if it gets you to stop looking at your phone and look up at the sign, I'm all for it.
What if the sign just had a picture of you and me and like DriveTime with DeRusha right on the screen? Then I would be for it.
Of course you would.
Then I'd be for it. Who would think that DeRusha would come out against like big digital displays along the side of the highway? Right? I mean,
certainly nobody that's ever paid for one before.
I can't imagine any real reason for anyone to have a big billboard on the side of the road. Seems ridiculous. Seems ridiculous to me. I don't know who is driving our web stream right now. It is putting these disgusting images on the screen, but I can assure you, I had absolutely nothing to do with the billboard that said, I'm not retired. I'm on AM radio.
Touch that dial. More Drive Time with DeRusha coming up on News Talk 830 WCCO.
All right, let's talk about something useful. Let's talk about my friends at Tureen Dermatology. It's Jason here for our friends at Tureen. My family goes there. I was just talking to my father-in-law and my mother-in-law about Tureen Dermatology the other day because here's what they said. So they had to go in for a Mohs procedure, which sometimes when you see a skin cancer, you need to take some action. And that's why you go in for a full-body skin checkup, and that's why you go see Dr. Mohiba Tureen and her 27 board-certified providers at 9 different locations all over the Twin Cities. So my in-laws go in. You're a little nervous. You're having a procedure. And right away, Dr. Tureen, it's hugs. It's good vibes. Her whole team is happy to be there. You will feel at ease when you go to Tureen Dermatology. Now, May is Skin Cancer Awareness Month, and I want you, with this warm weather, big sun, you're on the sideline of baseball games and soccer and all of that stuff, track and field right now, tennis, go put that sunscreen on, put a hat on, and make an appointment. Get that full body skin checkup. The website is Tureen, Tareen, dermatology.com.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular to get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and now for a limited time, new customers can get their second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit a store near you, or consumercellular.com and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
The peace lily is so last year. Hey, has anyone worked with fiddlenecks?
Shelby's popular flower shop is in full bloom.
We just got a request for an arrangement that evokes air. Who's up for that challenge? No?
She needs to hire a floral designer to nip foliage faux pas in the bud.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our advanced matching helps find talented candidates so you can connect with them fast. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Still getting around to that fix on your car?
You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
New month, new flavors. Jordana here for my friends at Mini Leaf. I'm talking about those Sleep Night gummies. I know you love them, and they even have a new and improved Sleep Night gummy. But here's a twist. They got some new flavors. So, better sleep and some yummy new flavors. Great grape, green apple snooze, and mellow mango in the nighttime blend. And of course, everybody loves the peaceful pineapple. That still exists in those Sleep Night gummies. Better sleep is the way to a better you. Mini Leaf can make that happen. I give these out to friends all the time. I recommend them for anybody who's having sleep troubles. You guys know they help me get off my Ambien, really. These gummies help me get off a pharmaceutical. I hope they will do wonders for you. Here's how you get them. Minileaf.com. MINILEAF.com.
Mini Leaf means quality. Taste happy at minileaf.com.
The home of Minnesota's best legal products.
Now on CCO, let's do traffic and weather together. First, a check of the drive and what shape the roads are in.
Ramp shut down due to emergency road work. West 36 to Highway 280 southbound. Crews are working on repairing a road buckle. Could be a while before things are patched up and cleared out of the way. In the meantime, expect delays in the area. East 36 watching slowdowns here as well as you come away from 280 heading out to Rice Street. 35 east slowing both directions between Maryland and Shepherd Road. Cedar Avenue southbound, that's going to be a slow ride. You move past 494 heading down to Highway 13. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
With a well-designed will, trust, and estate plan, you can have peace of mind. Choose Matt Gutman of Gutman Law to give yourself peace of mind. Call him now, 612-895-1616 at gutmanlaw.com. Gutman Law, peace of mind today for tomorrow.
Forecast time with an update on current conditions and a quick look at what's ahead the next few days.
Weather's brought to you by Gutman Law, Wills Trust and Probate Law, gutmanlaw.com. Tonight, clear sky, full moon. We are still under that red flag warning, and we got an air quality alert too. So, if you're sensitive to that stuff, be aware of that. Tomorrow, 89 the high. Wednesday, 88. Rain Thursday into Friday, finally. And then it's a little chilly, down to 60s. Sort of what it's supposed to be, I guess, but we're going to miss this on CCO.
This is Drive Time with DeRusha.
Off the charts in terms of talent and skill and star power.
DeRusha on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Texter Dan points out that if you did have a dynamic digital billboard in the New Ulm area, you could have a display that would say, "Welcome to New Ulm. It's only a speed trap for Jason." That's an impressive callback.
Yeah, that's
that speeding ticket
somebody
was
paying very close
almost
attention.
a year ago. That's very well done. Apparently, Qatar is giving the United States a $400 million.
Just giving it, and they don't want anything in return.
Look,
just here, have a plane.
I think that this is amazing. Amazing. Almost unbelievable, but honestly, look, there have been plenty of times in my life that I have been told that I have won hundreds of millions of dollars.
Sure.
I've gotten all sorts of emails with that.
Yeah. You just have to send them your social security number and a couple other things, and then they give
It's
you all
always
this money.
worked out.
Yeah.
It's always worked out for me. So I'm sure the Qatar airplane is going to be great.
I mean, they got a lot of money over there, and, not that many people live in Qatar, so they probably got more planes than they need.
Here is the problem that here's the problem with being smart, because most people don't give things too deep of a thought. And I think most Americans are like, we're in some other dumb country to pay for a free plane?
Why not?
Why not? Now, yeah, you can, if you go to NPR's website, you know what they're trotting out.
It's communists.
Ethics experts worry about the implications. Whereas most people are like, if somebody gave me like somebody gave me like a free hat, I'd be excited. Do you see the way that people go nuts over a free t-shirt at Target Center? Now here's Qatar like throwing a free plane at us. President called the critics world-class losers. Free trains and planes for us all.
Hey, it's Benita. If your kids have moved out and you have more space in your home than you need, you've probably thought about downsizing and moving somewhere that would require less maintenance. Wouldn't that be nice? If you want to buy a new home, selling the one you're living in now is probably how you would afford it. You need to work with my friend, the good neighbor agent, John Schuster of the John Schuster Group, Coldwell Banker Realty. Catherine decided to hire the Schuster Group. John's experience and responsiveness really stood out to her. She hired them, and John made the process as quick and easy as possible. That meant 4 offers in 4 days and an offer for thousands over asking price. It made buying her next home much easier. Catherine's happy that she hired John Schuster. Contact John for full details, 952-222-9000, online, johnschustergroup.com.
Buy a home, sell a home, we'll get you moving, johnschustergroup.com.
Terms and conditions may apply.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
News Talk 830 WCCO KMNB HD2 Minneapolis, St. Paul.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Cammie McCormick. Investors on Wall Street celebrated word of a 90-day truce between the U.S. and China in the trade war. Economist Gus Walz.
This is good news for the economy, and investors are cheered by the fact that it looks like some of these trade tensions are perhaps fading.
Business reporter Jason Brooks.
The gains were led by stocks with heavy exposure to Chinese factories and consumers, including Apple, Tesla, Nike, and Best Buy.
But it's only a 90-day pause, and CBS's Caitlin Huey Burns reports there are still relatively high tariffs in place.
There are still a lot of questions here about what would go into effect after this 90 days and if, in fact, they are able to work out a very complicated trade deal between the U.S. and China, and also questions about what the U.S. will eventually get out of this.
Hamas released its last surviving Israeli-American hostage today, Edon Alexander, in his hometown of Tenafly, New Jersey, a celebration. Reporter Robert Berger says he'll undergo medical tests now.
He has been held in a tunnel with very little air, no light, for almost 600 days. I believe it's 584 days. So we don't know exactly what condition he's in, but according to a first statement from the Red Cross, he's okay.
President Trump is on his way to the Middle East to meet with Gulf Arab leaders, but he hinted today he could tweak his travel plans and head to Turkey for the Ukraine-Russia talks.
I thought it would be helpful. I don't know where I'm going to be at that particular point. I'll be someplace in the Middle East, but I would fly there if I thought it would be helpful.
President Trump says it would be stupid to turn down a gift of a jumbo jet from the royal family of Qatar to be used as Air Force One. James Sample is a law professor at Hofstra University.
The reality is the airplane is not free. The airplane is not a gift. The price is simply paid in influence rather than dollars.
Testimonies begun in the sex trafficking trial of Sean Diddy Combs, with his attorneys insisting the prosecution's case is overreach. Katrina Kaufman is covering.
His attorney is owning up to a lot of his faults, and that's going to be a significant part of their defense, that he does have these qualities, that he has been unfaithful and had multiple partners, but that those are not the charges here.
Combs has pleaded not guilty. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Now from Minnesota's radio station, let's get you caught up with Minnesota's latest headlines and biggest stories on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Mostly sunny, 86 degrees at 5:03. I'm Laura Oakes. The St. Louis County Sheriff reporting a second large wildfire north of Duluth this afternoon. Crews are on the scene of that one, in addition to another fire that remains out of control, has destroyed 3 homes and has prompted at least 50 home evacuations. DNR wildfire prevention specialist Karen Harrison.
It is dry, hot, and windy.
Harrison says everyone needs to take extreme precautions and try not to spark a fire.
It's any spark. So if you're out doing yard work, just be cautious. If you hit a rock, look for smoke. If you're out working in the fields, make sure you're looking behind you regularly and you don't see any smoke or fire. And if you do spot a wildfire, get to a safe location and call 911 right away.
She says 80 of Minnesota's 87 counties are under a red flag warning, as is western Wisconsin. The Minnesota Pollution Control Agency issuing the first air quality alert of the warm weather season. It covers the Twin Cities and just about every county west to the border with the Dakotas, and was prompted by increased ground level ozone. The MPCA's Matt Terrellson.
Ozone season is kind of a narrow season in May and June. You have to have a really high solar angle. And so I tell people to kind of pay attention to that in the early part of the summer and spring. And then as we get later into the summer, that's usually when our wildfire smoke issues start to appear, more in July and August.
The MPCA says right now air quality is unhealthy for sensitive groups, which include people with heart or lung disease, older adults, children, and people with diabetes. One of the Minnesota Republican Party's biggest fundraisers of the year is tonight in Bloomington, but insiders say party infighting is keeping some of the biggest names away. Several Republican sources telling the Minnesota Star Tribune they don't like the direction new leadership is taking the party, saying that it aligns too closely with conservative grassroots factions and the far-right group Action for Liberty. None of Minnesota's congressional Republicans are planning to attend tonight's Lincoln-Reagan dinner. For the first time, the son of Governor Tim Walz is opening up about his emotional response to his father accepting the Democratic nomination for vice president. Gus Walz was seen standing up and shouting, "That's my dad," during the national broadcast last summer. He talked about it with David Begnaud of CBS News.
It was crazy. And I'm like looking at my mom and I'm like, that's my dad. He's right there. He's right in front of all of America, all these people chanting our last name. It was super overwhelming because to me, he's just regular old dad, just normal dad, golfs with me, make food, clean the cars, everything like that. And in that moment, it was something bigger. It was just surreal.
It was later revealed that Gus has a nonverbal learning disability. He told Bagnell that he's a normal kid that became closer to his mother while dealing with the condition. Gus is a senior at St. Paul Central High School. The piece also showed him making a successful promposal. His prom is this coming weekend. And the Timberwolves hoping to take advantage of another game without Steph Curry in Game 4 of the Western Conference semifinals with the Golden State Warriors in San Francisco tonight. The Wolves lead the best-of-7 series 2-1 after Saturday's win. Anthony Edwards came through in the fourth quarter after a slow start, but our Henry Lake says another Wolves player deserves some kudos.
The guy that didn't get a whole lot of credit in the win a couple of days ago was Jaden McDaniels. And Jaden McDaniels quietly had a really, really stinky good game. So looking for him to have a good game tonight as well.
Tonight's game gets underway at 9 on ESPN. Game 5 will be back here at Target Center Wednesday night. WCCO News Time is 5:06.
Now on CCO, let's do traffic and weather together. First, a check of the drive and what shape the roads are in.
Brought to you by Linda's Construction. Get your leaf guard brand gutters, lindasconstruction.com. Ramp closure still in place, West 36 to Highway 280 southbound with emergency road repair taking place. 694 westbound jammed up, Highway 10 to 252. 94 westbound, you can expect heavy stuff there, pretty much from Hemlock Lane all the way up to 101 as you make way toward Rogers. 10 westbound jamming up at Hanson Boulevard. Get the Leaf Guard gutter system guaranteed never to clog, custom fit to your home on site for a perfect seamless finish. Available in a variety of colors to complement your home's decor. Call Linda's Construction at 844-9-LINDAS or lindasconstruction.com. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Jordana Green here. I pray you and your family are always safe. But if there's ever a time where you need an advocate after an accident, let Mike Bryant of Bradshaw & Bryant help you. He will work with and for you in dealing with the insurance company. Call 800-770-7008 today. Bradshaw & Bryant, seeking justice for the injured.
Forecast time with an update on current conditions and a quick look at what's ahead the next few days.
Brought to you by Bradshaw & Bryant, personal injury attorneys seeking justice for the injured. You can find them at minnesotapersonalinjury.com. And here's WCCO TV Chief Meteorologist Chris Schaefer.
The moon is full tonight. Watch out for werewolves. Another warm night, 63 the overnight low. Plenty of sunshine tomorrow. Another breezy day with a high up around 89. Sunny and 88 on Wednesday. It's Thursday and Friday. We finally get some rain around here. Our highs will fall back to the 60s and stay there through the weekend.
Mostly sunny right now, 86 at News Talk 830 WCCO.
What's going on, why it matters, and how it'll affect your family. News Talk 830 WCCO. No suit, no tie, just DeRusha. It's Drive Time. Live from the WCCO studios, high atop the Odyssey Tower.
You're watching the cool brainwashing 12-year-old and younger station that hides behind a slick image. We're so cool that we decide what's cool. And now, here's your host,
Jason DeRusha.
It is Monday. It is sunny. It is hot. It's so sunny and hot that we're blowing out part of the highway, it sounds like. My goodness. Welcome to Drive Time. Is it too hot? Dan and I were talking about this before.
How hot is it?
It's so hot. It is too hot. I think it's too hot. Like, we don't need 85 on May 13th. And the reason is this. Everyone is going to be whining so much come Thursday, Friday, when it's going to be in the 60s, right? Because it'll feel so dramatically different. We can't just enjoy this. Although, is it enjoyable? I don't know. It's so windy. I
thought it was enjoyable yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday. We ate outside last night. Well, what about the ozone? Is that real, by the way, the ozone thing?
I mean, ozone is a real thing. The air alert, I don't know.
Are you sure? Are you sure?
Yes, I am sure ozone is a real thing. Yes.
I thought it all was going away from the rain.
It was, and then we stopped, having everybody use
it,
chlorofluorocarbons all over the place, and it grew itself back.
My hairspray has never been the same.
I know.
Never been the same. Yeah.
The little sacrifices you make for the world that can keep on spinning,
The ozone alert. We have too damn many alerts, don't we? I don't know what's happening to me. I like Andy
You are
Rooney
a cranky
today.
old guy today,
one.
for sure.
We ever wonder, why do we need an ozone alert for?
Suddenly I'm checking your eyebrows to see if they're growing aggressively.
Too many alerts. Dow Jones up. I just want to mention this because we went bananas when the Trump tariff stuff sent the stock markets in the tank. Today, the president says, I'm going to lower prescription drug prices. And guess whose stocks went up? Drug companies. So maybe take a minute before you celebrate those drug prices going down. I'm a little suspicious about that. And nothing like, President Trump is just like what I was like as like an 8-year-old. Make a giant mess, then clean it up, and expect to be celebrated for it. That's sort of what's happening. Let's do the lead.
Now, time to get you caught up on some of the biggest stories of the day. These are the DeRush Hour headlines.
Good evening. Our top story.
This just in.
Our top story.
We begin tonight with.
We begin tonight.
We begin tonight.
We begin with the lead.
And our first story today is a crisis in Minnesota's ambulances. When we call 911 and we need an ambulance to show up, we expect it. We just don't even think about it. But right now, some of the leaders in the Minnesota EMS community are sounding the alarm, saying that more needs to be done because they're short on staff, and 60% of the rides they provide are for people on Medicare and Medicaid, and the government isn't paying them enough. Let's go to the head of the Minnesota Ambulance Association, Michael Juntanen, who joins us on the John Schuster Coldwell Banker Hotline to talk a little bit about just how bad this problem is.
Yeah, I appreciate the question. If I were to summarize the current issues in the state into a very short statement, we're facing a great amount of issues with both reimbursement or funding and workforce.
In your piece today, you said that ambulance services are crumbling under the weight of all of this stuff. Is that how you feel about it?
Yeah, especially in rural Minnesota. Over the last 5+ years, we've seen only a few ambulance services in the state have fully closed their doors. But what we're seeing that isn't as apparent when you're looking from the outside in is that a lot of services are having to rely on covering their service area by asking their neighboring services to come in because they don't have enough staff to get to staff the ambulance for the day. Although their doors haven't closed, they may not have coverage, and they're having to have other services from longer response times come into their service area.
Yeah, here in the Metro Twin Cities, the response time is generally pretty quick. But in rural Minnesota, you have that double whammy, right, of not having enough staffing. And then if you don't have enough funding, you're not going to get enough staffing. It's a real conundrum.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, the economies of scale plays into EMS as it does with other types of businesses and stuff throughout the U.S. And so in the more metropolitan areas, they've got a higher call volume. And so the funding, it hasn't been as apparent of an issue in the years past. But as the demographic changes in Minnesota and across the country, and more people are hitting Medicare age and moving into governmental reimbursement models, those models aren't reimbursing the actual cost of care when we transport those patients. And so even in the urban areas, we're having a growing issue as that demographic changes. And unless we see changes with Medicare and Medicaid reimbursement, a lot of our urban areas are going to continue to struggle as well. We're out in rural Minnesota, you don't have that economy of scale where you don't have the call volume that's been there. So you're relying on subsidies to fund and run those ambulance services. But that model's even broke out in the rural areas of the state. We will have single cities who are paying the bulk of what it takes to run the ambulance service, even though that ambulance could be serving multiple cities in that area. And it's hard to get those other areas to help contribute and participate because there's nothing that forces them to do so. And so those ambulance services are struggling, especially with the growing inflation. The cost of all of our equipment has grossly increased.
Yeah. Would you like to see the state step in some of these areas?
So I think that's by far the most efficient way to do this in a timely fashion. Getting Medicare to change its reimbursement model, that's a pretty big ask. We know that ask is out there.
Well, we know how important it is. A lot of people just don't know how urgent the situation is for you guys.
Yeah, and I think, we did this as a quieter fight for a lot of years. We have to have something.
Michael Juntanen for the Minnesota Ambulance Association, writing in MinPost today. Michael, thank you. We appreciate it. Next up in the lead, it is Lionel Messi, the biggest name in perhaps modern history when it comes to soccer, in St. Paul at Allianz Field, and he just got his butt kicked by Minnesota United. I wanted to get a little sense as to what things were like at Allianz, and there is a little bit of breaking news and continuing developments based on that event this weekend in the Twin Cities. Let's go to Andy Greeter, who is the Pioneer Press Minnesota United reporter. Andy is with us on the John Schuster Coldwell Banker Hotline. Thanks for being here, Andy.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, Jason.
All right, first of all, what was the environment like? What was the vibe like when Minnesota United won 4-1 over Miami?
Yeah, just for starters, I usually arrive 2 hours before the game, and there's maybe some stadium workers filing in for their shift, and maybe I can smell the beignets being cooked up in one of the stands. But other than that, it's pretty quiet. And I showed up about 2 hours like I usually do, and there were lines around the block, lines down Snelling, lines down University, people in line to see Soul Asylum, who played, I think, 90 minutes before the match. And so there was a buzz kind of immediately surrounding what was going on during the game. Once the game started, it was probably about 15,000 Minnesota United fans, maybe 5,000 Messi/Inter Miami fans. And they got probably the perfect situation that could happen, right? I think the majority of them wanted to see Minnesota United win, but in their heart of hearts probably wanted to see some bit of brilliance out of Messi, given the fact that he is, like you said, the greatest player of this generation, maybe the greatest player of all time.
Yeah.
And he was able to score a goal, and Minnesota United was able to win comfortably. So it was kind of a perfect day all around.
It is the dream situation, right? Because you don't want, part of the thrill of being able to tell your kids that you got to see Lionel Messi is that you also got to see him score. There's no doubt about it, right?
Absolutely. And it wasn't a goal that's going to be in the top half, 3/4, maybe even 7/8 of his all-time approaching 1,000 career goals. But like you said, it was still a milestone. It was still a marker. And especially given that the 37-year-old walks a lot of time during the matches, the fact that he's able to either create or score a goal is, like you said, noteworthy and something that kind of makes it worthwhile for the people that spent hundreds of dollars to see him.
Andy, there is no doubt that there was intrigue leading up to this because Messi doesn't always play. And Minnesota United was pretty intentional in keeping this match at Allianz, right? In order to maximize. Do you think that was to maximize the chance that Messi would play? Or was that more about really being loyal to your season ticket holders? What do you make of that?
Yeah, so they have about 14,000 season ticket holders, and the club will say they wanted to keep it at Allianz for them to have the best experience in what's the most circled game on the schedule.
All right, but do we believe that?
Yeah, but yeah. So to your point, I think it's a bit of a false choice because if they were to move that game to say U.S. Bank Stadium or Huntington Bank Stadium, that game is on artificial turf, and soccer players in general, especially aging ones like Messi, don't like to play on artificial turf. It's hard on their joints. The game kind of changes. And when they went to Vancouver and they played in the same stadium that the Whitecaps usually play in, Messi missed that match anyway. So it was kind of a false choice about if they were going to move it or not. But I think the fact that they, didn't move it, they gave up, I think, $3 to $4, maybe even $5 million in gate receipts that they, weren't able to gather if they were to move it to an NFL stadium. But like you said, he might not have played even if they moved it.
Yeah. Glad that people got to see him. And there is a little bit of ongoing controversy today because of David Beckham. You just wrote about that at twincities.com. Tell us what the drama is here.
Yeah, so Minnesota United, after the 4-1 kind of comprehensive win, Minnesota United put out a Instagram post about it and called it the Pink Pony Club, which is a play on Chappelle Roan's Pink Pony Club song. And David Beckham did not take kindly to that, little jab, the little punny attempt at some humor that Minnesota United had. And he said it was disrespectful, that you need to be elegant in triumph, he said. So he took exception to that. He took exception to another post as well. So,
what is David Beckham doing? Like checking out the Minnesota United Instagram feed? Come on, man.
That's a great question. He's an Inter Miami co-owner. I think it probably just found him on his feed. But he took exception to it and felt like he needed to comment forward. And I wrote about it. Many other people have commented on it. Obviously, he was a tremendous player in his own right. So anytime he makes a comment, it'll be written about and talked about, and he kind of stepped in it, if you will.
It's pretty good. Pretty good stuff. Andy, thank you for the time. We appreciate it. Andy Greder, Pioneer Press, Minnesota United reporter. Thanks, Andy.
Appreciate it.
That is the D-Rush Hour News headlines here on CCO. Page 2 coming up in just a minute. What do we have on page 2? Sometimes I forget. Oh, how about this? Board game nights seem to be back. A gondola expert, not in Italy, but in Stillwater, and what our NFL franchise is copying from U.S. Bank Stadium. Stick around.
Jason DeRusha returns shortly with more of Drive Time on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Advantage Seamless Gutters is now Advantage Home Pros. New look, same pros. Still locally owned and now taking care of all your gutter and roofing needs. Spring cleanup is just around the corner. Don't spend your weekends on a ladder cleaning your gutters when you could be spending time with family and planning that fishing trip. Trust your local gutter pros, Advantage Home Pros. Now your local custom roofing pros. With the highest quality workmanship and materials. Our trained, knowledgeable local pros can handle it all. Trust the pros. AdvantageHomePros.com.
Accidents don't follow a playbook, but Postman Law has the winning strategy. We've helped clients recover over $3 billion by delivering personal attention and real results. Call 844-POSTMAN today, because when life throws you a curve, Postman delivers the compensation you deserve. Offices, Minneapolis.
Hey, it's Benita. Nobody wants to wait forever for their home to sell, but it happens. We've all driven past that neighbor's house and seen the same for sale sign up for months at a time. If you don't work with the right real estate agent, that can be you. Avoid it by hiring my friend, the good neighbor agent, John Schuster of the John Schuster Group, Coldwell Banker Realty. Rick and Nancy decided to hire the John Schuster Group, and they did the right thing. Before calling John, they tried another agent. Their home sat on the market for over a year. Then they hired John. His marketing system helped him sell their home in just 2 weeks. It reaches so many people every single day that he routinely sells homes much faster for the most money possible. Contact John for full details. 952-222-9000 online. JohnSchusterGroup.com.
Buy a home, sell a home, we'll get you moving. JohnSchusterGroup.com.
Terms and conditions may apply.
Prescription products require completion of an online medication consultation with an independent healthcare provider through the LifeMD platform and are only available if prescribed. Subscription required. Individual results may vary. Additional restrictions apply at lifemd.com. Read all warnings before using GLP-1s. Side effects may include a risk of thyroid C-cell tumors. Do not use GLP-1s if you or your family have a history of thyroid cancer.
If you've struggled for years to lose weight and have given up hope, did you know you can now access GLP-1 prescription medications through LifeMD? LifeMD is now offering eligible patients online access to GLP-1s, the breakthrough prescription medication that can help you lose body fat and weight. Listen to what people are saying.
You just take your shot. It doesn't feel like you're on a diet. What I wasn't expecting it to do was to shut off the food noise. This was life-altering, and if I can do it, I feel like anybody can do it.
And here's the best part. Your insurance may cover 100% of the cost of your medication. So go to trylifemd.com to have your eligibility checked right now. Get started today at trylifemd.com. That's TRYLIFEMD.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this important announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit, 800-384-7878, 800-384-7878, 800-384-7878.
This is Drive Time with DeRusha.
Yeah, the word that comes to mind a lot, especially through social, but also through listeners, is humorless.
On News Talk 830 WCCO.
D-Rush Hour News Headlines continues, as always, with Page 2, and let's start with public TV and radio. They are worried about losing federal money.
Disappointed that it's under attack.
NPR President Dushan Drew says federal funding makes up about 5% of their budget, around $7 million a year.
So it's not nice to have kind of money, frankly.
Yeah. Tough for NPR. You know, I don't care. I'm on WCCO. This is their problem. I mean, come on. Give me $7 million. Trump, let's go. Give me a slice of that airplane money. Seriously, like obviously these are significant. Public radio and public television have been preparing for the possibility of this for a long time, and that's why it's down to 5% or so of their budget. But that is real money. Twin Cities Public TV has laid off people in advance, furloughs for employees who work on a show called Skillsville, which is an animated show, because the Department of Education grant funding this show was not renewed. Board game nights are a thing.
Whew! I haven't had so much fun since I started playing my Monopoly game. But now I'm in a new game. Free parking.
I'm very torn on this because I want to make fun of it, and I also think it's awesome. This is happening in coffee shops and community centers and breweries and church basements. It's strangers bonding over their mutual love of dice, cards, and wordplay. Neil Justin in the Star Tribune writing about this. St. Paul's Bad Weather hosts game nights every other Tuesdays, which is pretty cool. Said his teenage daughter actually did her senior project on how board games are the perfect icebreakers for people who are socially awkward or on the spectrum. It is a way to bring people together. And because you have the game, you don't have to sit there and make awkward conversation for 2 hours. You're playing the game. Oh, pretty good way to get people into your spaces. Obviously, the pandemic led to people playing more Monopoly and more Scrabble and that sort of thing as we were sitting at home. But now it's continuing. Richfield Community Center does it. Nina's Coffee Cafe in St. Paul is hoping to extend their hours in the evening, and they'll be adding game nights too. This guy gave 20,000 gondola rides, not in Italy. That is not John Kirschbaum. 25 years in the gondola business in Stillwater, which he calls the most romantic city in the Midwest. Mary Devine. You give me a Mary Devine story in the Pioneer Press, I'm reading it. 10 out of 10, I'm reading it. And 7 out of 10, I'm putting it in the rush hour. They're always so good. John got his idea to launch his business in 1998 after he saw a photo of a gondola in a local newspaper. He grew up in Afton. So, not exactly gondola center. But he flew to Venice to buy a gondola. Do you know what it costs to ship a gondola to Stillwater?
Can't be cheap.
$26,000. Well, that included the purchase, the whole bit. Is that too much or not enough? Too much.
Depends on how much you can make with the gondola.
Well, I think he's done all right. It barely fit into a 40-foot shipping container. It costs $160. That's not bad. $160. I should buy Alyssa a gondola ride. That's kind of fun. And finally, NFL franchise is copying a feature of U.S. Bank Stadium. It's the roof. It's the translucent roof. Very interesting Axios Twin Cities piece on how that roof has sparked a design revolution. It's inspired stadiums in L.A., Vegas, Nashville, influencing projects in Cleveland, Chicago, and D.C. Instead of using retractable roofs, which are expensive, break down, it provides the outdoor feel and gives you an enclosed stadium so you can still have WrestleMania, the Final Four from the NCAA, and the Super Bowl. That is the D-Rush Hour news headlines. Dave Schwartz is up in just minutes. Talk about the Red Hot Twins and the Timberwolves. That game tonight here on CCO.
Drive Time with DeRusha is back after this on News Talk 830 WCCO. What if WCCO had been there during the most epic events in history?
The British are coming! The British are coming!
Forsooth, our traffic reporter verily indicates a backup on the Redcoat Road through Lexington. Perchance thou shalt take an alternate route.
If it mattered, we were probably already covering it. History has always happened here. News Talk 830 WCCO.
Hi, Denny Long here. Whenever I'm looking at doing some home improvements around our house, I only go to Linda's Construction, a single contractor for all your home improvement needs. And right now through the month of May, Lindus is offering 75% off installation labor on Infinity from Marvin Windows. GAF asphalt shingles, and Leaf Guard brand gutters right through the month of May. Call 844-9-LINDUS, LINDUS, or go down the web, lindusconstruction.com.
Do you know what the scariest sound to hear on a factory floor is? Silence. That means something somewhere broke. Production has stopped, and now you're paying your workers to wait while the team troubleshoots and tries to fix the problem. Finally, there's a proactive way to reduce equipment downtime, thanks to MaintainX. MaintainX is the asset management system that brings your maintenance downtime to zero. MaintainX lets you build preventative maintenance schedules, manage work orders in real time, and access the data you need to make better decisions. Downtime equals death in the production world, so make unplanned downtime a thing of the past. Try MaintainX for free. Control the daily operations of your business and transform your maintenance program by going to maintainx.com. That's maintain in the letter X.com.
Hi, Jordana. I'm Emily. I'm a new mom, and as you can imagine, things are kind of crazy. Every moment is an adventure that I feel completely unprepared for. Even after spending the last year preparing, I read all the books, attended classes, joined mommy groups. I feel ready for just about anything that could possibly happen with my child. But what if something happens to me? That question's been on my mind increasingly lately, and I think it's time I address it. You're a mom. Why did you choose Gutman Law?
Emily, girlfriend, I know exactly how you feel. The well-being of our children is the single most important thing in the world from the moment you become a parent. Working with an attorney to name guardians for your children and provide for them are some of the most important steps you can take as a new parent. Well, by meeting with Matt and Jamie, you can create a plan to ensure your child's safety and security. That's what I did. If you want to be certain your child is cared for in the way you want, that their future is never in doubt, even if yours is, reach out to Gutman Law today. GutmanLaw.com or 612-895-1616. Gutman Law, giving you peace of mind today for tomorrow.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy. And from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Now on CCO, let's do traffic and weather together. First, a check of the drive and what shape the roads are in.
Watching slow down Cedar South as we move past Killebrew Drive, heading down to Highway 13. South 169 jammed up a bit as you come in from Anderson Lights Parkway, heading down to 101. 10 westbound slowing past Hanson. And you got some slowdowns traveling Highway 10 westbound, I-94 westbound, Hemlock Lane to Weaver Lake Road. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
If you have trees to trim or need tree removal, call an ISA certified arborist. Call the CCO Land Company I use. B&M Tree Service, 1-800-569-9034. Or get on the web, bnmtree.com.
Forecast time with an update on current conditions and a quick look at what's ahead the next few days.
Weather's brought to you by B&M Tree Services. Let's hear from Chief Meteorologist Chris Schaefer.
Clear sky tonight. You'll see that bright full moon, 63 the overnight low. It stays warm the next couple of days. Mostly sunny, highs in the upper 80s, breezy both days. Finally, some rain on Thursday. Those showers linger into Friday. Our highs are going to slip back to the 60s, which is just below average, and they'll stay there through the weekend.
It's warm, 85 and sunny on CCO.
This is Drive Time with DeRusha.
This is potentially the most important discovery in the entire history of mankind.
I agree.
On News Talk 830 WCCO. He'll say what he thinks.
I hesitate to write them off after 4 games, but
even when he isn't always right,
I'll once again admit that I was wrong. Shows you how much I know.
But that's what we love about him.
And I'm a Jersey snob.
The always entertaining and authentic Dave Schwartz now joins Jason for his weekly appearance on Drive Time with Direction.
All right, Dave, lots to talk about, but I got to ask you about Mother's Day. What did you do for your wonderful wife, for the mom in your family?
We played low key. So my wife was camping with our daughter for Scouts. So when they got back, she said, I'd like to take a nap. And I said, you do you. It's your day.
It's pretty good.
So
I took Alyssa to Lowe's and to Costco.
Oh, look out. You
yeah.
really,
Yeah.
that's the full parent day right there. Suburban parents. Let's go to Lowe's and although Costco on a weekend.
Questionable. Very questionable move. Yeah. Survived it though.
Mm.
Yeah.
Good
I know.
For you.
Thank
You're
you.
a better man than I.
Heroic, some would say.
Yeah.
You're
not all heroes wear capes, my friend.
So we talked about the Messi visit, which was sort of it seemed to be a frenzy there for the Loons, and there's been a little bit of like after the fact social media drama with David Beckham, one of the co-owners of Inter Miami, calling out the Loons social media people for not being respectful.
Really? I did not hear about this.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Can I just say, get over yourself? Like, I mean, come on. I mean, they lost anyway. So if
They did lose.
Messi was that good, maybe his team would have won.
Maybe. What about winning with class, though, Dave? Whatever happened to that?
So you'll have to fill me in. What did their social media people say?
So, I mean, part of this is the overall vibe, right? Where social media, team-run social media, it's a little saucy. You know what I mean? It's never just like final score, unless you lose. Then it's real. Then it's real professional.
The game is over. We lost 7-1. Yeah, that's.
They posted a picture on Instagram of the opponents and called them the Pink Phony Club. Play on the Pink Pony Club.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Well, yeah. And then they cut in like the fact that MNUFC has 22 points and Miami has 21. I mean, that dominant 1-point advantage, it's a little bit like maybe we're celebrating a little bit too soon, but all right. But David Beckham, who apparently is just looking through Insta, he's like, show a little respect, MNUFC, be elegant in triumph.
First of all, David Beckham has someone who looks through Insta for him and tells him this, I guarantee it. Well, there's two things, right? Like, MN United, like, they saw their shot. It's that 1 point advantage. You don't know when you're going to have it again or how long it's going to be. So you take your shot. It's a little edgy to take a shot at the team that you beat, I think, if there's nothing, but it's certainly going to make for maybe a good rivalry. I don't know. I'm kind of here for it. You know, in social media now, you got to make a mark with every single post, or else you're just going to fade into the background and of the mindless drivel and keyboard warriors and angry tweeters. But yeah, I think I'm okay with it.
I don't know. I think Pink Phony Club's a little obnoxious. Like, it's fine from like the fans, right? But like,
but they're the voice of the fans, and they're trying to appeal to their fans.
Yeah, I don't know.
What I think this is.
What do you gain out of this? What do you gain out of this? Your fans are already your fans.
Well,
you're not getting it. Are you getting new fans? Other haters?
What do you gain out of any of it? It's a giant waste of time most of the time. But you know, this is.
You're not wrong.
This is a classic. How old is David Beckham?
50 years old. Me and Dave Beckham, we have a lot in common.
And that's what I'm getting at. You're teetering on that get off my lawn, precipice here, where underneath that, like myself at 46, up and coming cool hip guy that I am, thinks that I was okay with it. And then the upper side is the angry curmudgeonly, this is classless, don't do this, get off my lawn.
It's true.
So that was for the unders.
I'm
not
all
the
for
overs, if you will.
I agree with all the people. Classic to Russia. Do I think it's classless? Yes. Do I think this is how team run social media pretty much operates in the age of appealing to the Gen Z and the younger millennial? Yeah. Yes. So sort of get over it. You don't have to consume it, but it is obnoxious. I also think it's obnoxious. I think both things.
But those are the people running those accounts. Is the Gen Z millennial type, and they're speaking to their audience. And you and I, to a degree, are not that.
No,
Although, again,
right.
I wouldn't use.
It
the
is
word
funny.
obnoxious.
It
I
is
think
funny.
it's
I'll give them that. Pink Phony Club is
It
pretty
is.
good, but like
It's a
also
little bit of a target. There's a risk in this too when you put yourself out there like that. That's important because you do become a little bit of a target now if you're gonna, spout off the mountaintop that kind of swagger that, hey, we just took you and Lionel Messi down.
Right.
Pink Phony Club. I think it's very creative. I'm not totally against it.
No.
But it's interesting. It's an interesting tactic.
Timberwolves game 4 tonight. Wolves did what they needed to do to win the second game. I don't think they blew any of us away in game 3. Although Anthony Edwards is showing like he struggled, no doubt, but I have been impressed with the grit. He is still very young. He is relatively untested, but like when push comes to shove, he is finding a way.
Yeah, that's kind of what I've taken away from it to a degree. I think he's hitting the big shots when they need him to, which is in the second half. Julius Randle has been way better than I expected.
How about that?
And I think he's been great, taking some pressure off.
Yeah.
Honestly, the most amazing thing to me is I don't think I've ever seen Jimmy Butler play that well, ever, in any game he's ever played in, other than game 3. He was outstanding.
Yes.
And truly, I mean, there were some other players, obviously, that were helping out. Kuminga was also good in that game. But if you take Jimmy Butler out of that game, it's even more of a Timberwolves sway that way. And the reason I say that is because can you really expect that from Jimmy Butler again? I don't know that you can. And so, they play tonight, and if he can have another big game, then maybe they have a chance. But I don't know that he can do. Maybe I'll be a naysayer, but I don't know that Jimmy Butler can do that 2 games in a row. And so, there's just so many different options for the Timberwolves right now. I mean, Naz Reid's dropping threes in game 3 when you need it. So there's just, this team has so much depth and so much range, inside, outside. They dominate the paint. They can shoot from beyond the arc. I thought Golden State, their game the other night was, let's take it inside and just bang it off the boards as much as we can. And that's why Butler succeeded so much. I don't think that's realistic for 2 games in a row. I think the Timberwolves take this one a little bit easier tonight.
Dave Schwartz is with us. Twins off today. They probably need a break after just what a stretch. What a stretch for our baseball club here, who look like, man, I don't know. They look awful to start the season.
Yeah.
And now they're on a nice little run.
I mean, they're getting timely hitting when they need it. They're getting some better pitching and then relieving. Pablo Lopez didn't have his best stuff the other day, but they were at least able to overcompensate. But I also think, and I'm not being that guy, but I do think it's worthy of pointing out that wins over the Orioles. The Orioles are not the toughest team.
No, the Orioles sweeping the Orioles doesn't blow me away, but sweeping the Giants, like they're they were 24-14 when they came to town.
Yeah, they're okay. They're a very, when I take away Brown, they're 24-17. They're a very comparable team to the Twins. And so you beat them, like that's legitimate. But also, even more so, I think to take, 2 of 3 from the Red Sox, I think when you go back to that series, it's really impressive because the Red Sox are good and it was at their place.
Yes.
But they're eking out, they're getting these 1-run victories that they need. And that's the sign to me of a stronger, more resilient team where, okay, we're going to need to take this one into the ninth, sometimes the 10th, and get that out and get that play when you need it. And for all the heat that's been on Rocco Baldelli, he's managed to do it again because it was a rough start last year too. and they they're contending for a playoff spot at the end of the year before it's completely epic collapse. But he does it again. I mean, he is a very cerebral, I think, manager that trusts in his process, and eventually guys come around and start playing better.
Is he good now? He's a good manager? He was really bad like 2 weeks ago. That's what I'm reading on social media.
That's the beauty of sports. What have you done for me lately?
Now you're good. I mean, you can't get too carried away and look at standings, really. I mean, we're still 5 games out, and we're in 4th place in our division, but we're not falling further behind, at least.
No,
unfortunately, everybody's winning at the same
farther.
time, but we got a long way to
But
go.
the Central's close. I mean, you're only 5 games. I mean, again, like, it's only a couple games. You're only a couple months into the season here, but you're 5 games back of the lead. You're only 2.5 games back of jumping up into 2nd place if you can, and then it's all gravy from there.
Yeah, pretty good. Dave, I appreciate it. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Always a pleasure, and well done on Mother's Day.
Yo, thank you. I'm sure Alyssa enjoyed that wonderful Costco. I made dinner. I did something. I mean, we had to buy.
Did you grab it to go?
You know, we bought a drill bit, and we bought,
Happy Mother's Day. Here's something to do more work with. Can you only buy one? I thought you had to buy them in sets.
It took me a bit, but I found where like the singular bits were. I just needed one bit. I didn't need not 2 bits, just 1 bit for me.
Just 1 bit, please.
Thanks, Dave.
We need a quick pit stop. Then Jason DeRusha continues on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Do the Lindahl. Let's do it. Arms wide out. It's Jason here for my friend Chris Lindahl. The real estate market right now. How do you feel about real estate? Uneasy, confused, uncertain, nervous? Yeah, get in line. That's why more people have been going to chrislindahl.com and taking advantage of the guaranteed cash offer than we have seen in quite some time. There is a lot of enthusiasm about the guaranteed offer because it's a guarantee. Right now, man, if you got to sell a house and sell it quickly, so many questions, right? What's going to happen with the inspection? What's going to happen with the buyer? What's going to happen with their financing? What's going on with interest rates? You don't know. We don't know. Nobody knows. chrislindahl.com. Chris knows how to do a guaranteed cash offer, how to get you money guaranteed at closing. It's fast. It's painless. It's stress-free. There's no commissions. There's no people walking through your house and looking through your stuff. No open houses. No afternoon phone call that you got to get out of your house in 1 hour because someone wants to come see it. Sometimes you have a family circumstance that means you have to move or you have to sell. Chris Lindahl knows how to get you to the finish line. He'll do it. He's done it for 30,000 plus people, including an extra 30 or 40 already this month. And it's only May, 12? My goodness. chrislindahl.com. Get that guaranteed cash offer and start packing. Terms and conditions may apply.
Thielen Meats of Piers is where tradition meets taste.
Family grown, employee owned. We've mastered the art of meat.
That's why we're the #1 meat market in Minnesota.
And we're located right here in Piers.
Check out our mouthwatering selection at thielenmeats.com.
Better yet, stop in and see for yourself. We're serving up love 1 cut at a time.
Thielen Meats, from our family to your feast.
No meal's complete without Thielen Meats
of Piers.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate your car today at carsforkids.org. Your car, running or not, can be picked up as soon as the next day. No title, no problem. Call 877-CARS-FOR-KIDS or go online at carsforkids.org to donate today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
I'm John Taft, Vice Chairman of Baird. For over 100 years, Baird's people and expertise have made a difference in the financial advice and services we provide. Our experts on 3 continents combine diverse backgrounds and perspectives to meet your needs. Being nationally recognized as a great place to work helps Baird attract the best people in our industry to advise you. Experience a different kind of financial partnership. Discover the Baird difference. Visit BairdTwinCities.com.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular to get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and now for a limited time, new customers can get their second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit a store near you, or ConsumerCellular.com and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Now on CCO, let's do traffic and weather together. First, a check of the drive and what shape the roads are in.
Crash working 10 westbound as make way toward Hanson Boulevard. The activity off to the left side. Slowdowns place as make way past Egret. Traveling 35W southbound. Some slowdown through the Highway 36 Commons. And we saw that ramp shut down with emergency road work taking place west 36 to Highway 280 southbound. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Dave Lee here. That first sip of coffee. My perfect start to the day because I brew it with my Connecticut water. For delicious coffee, peace of mind, and worry-free water throughout your home, schedule your free water analysis today at AquariusHomeservices.com.
Forecast time with an update on current conditions and a quick look at what's ahead the next few days.
All right, the weather is brought to you by Aquarius Home Services. We appreciate their support. It's sunny, it's hot. We are under a red flag warning, so I wouldn't have a backyard fire pit tonight, and be careful when working on landscaping. I expect it to last until about 9 o'clock tonight. And then we're under that air quality alert as well. So a couple of warnings to tell you about. Tonight, we get down to about 63. Tomorrow, up to 89. Wednesday, 88, says Schaefer. And then rain Thursday into Friday. Right now, it's standing strong at 85 degrees here on CCO.
Drive Time with DeRusha. Now video streaming live on YouTube and always on your radio at News Talk 830 WCCO.
What Dan Cook has just told me something that is just, so stupid, so disappointing, so unusually overly machismo kind of behavior that I can't believe that you're one of these.
I've only given you a partial explanation for why I won't do this, but no, I'm not turning on my air conditioning. I didn't do it over the weekend. I'm not doing it today. It's going to be cool by the end of the week, so it's going to be just fine. But it's not so much an overly machismo type thing. It's, I live in an apartment, right? So it's a wall unit that's out in the living room. And so when I turn it on, it's not even so much the noise. I mean, the noise is there, but it's not too bad. But the problem is, if I'm going to cool down the whole apartment, now I got to put fans in 3 different spots to try and blow the air around.
True.
And it's kind of a pain in the butt. And so
if you don't have no central air.
No, it's just the one wall unit.
Is this apartment from the 50s or
the building was built, I think, in the early 60s. So it's an older,
Yeah.
And it's like a concrete building, right?
So it holds it in.
So it holds the heat in.
Yeah.
Which that isn't ideal. But it's fine.
You just take another article of clothing off.
It's a western exposure.
You live alone, you can do whatever you want.
There is that. It's a west exposure. So I got to make sure all the blinds and drapes and everything are closed.
Yeah.
So that, because that afternoon setting sun just beats on the side of the building.
Huh.
But no, I'm not going to do it. It's too early. I'm not going to do it.
So your situation, I'm going to allow it.
Appreciate that.
And still mock it, but allow it.
You know.
What I think is weird are the people who just have a thermostat, just you have a regular central heating, central air, and they act like turning on the air conditioner or turning on the heater on the furnace is like an act of Congress, like a executive order.
Yeah.
is required.
That's exactly what. The other part of it
It's
is
no big deal, man. Like you just set a temperature and that's it.
Well, except my electric bill, like on mine, my electric bill goes through the roof every time.
Well,
I
when
turn
you're
it
running
on.
that.
Yeah. So
For me, it's almost no difference. The cost of heating.
So basically, what I'm saying is I'm cheap and I'm lazy, and then that's why I'm not doing it.
Are you? Do you find yourself particularly sweaty?
Not terribly.
Yeah.
No.
It's. I know people say like with the cold, you could just at home you just put a sweater on. It's fine. With the heat, the problem with the heat is like you can only take so much clothes off. And it doesn't even solve the problem.
Not really. No. Yeah.
It's sort of funny. It's like, it's not like, why you're hot? It's not like your t-shirt.
Right.
That's
yeah,
not
that's
like if
not
you
gonna
just
make a
took that
difference.
t-shirt off, man.
Not going to make the difference.
Now I'm good. It's so ridiculous.
No.
We turn the air conditioning on, but we're very, very
Well, you got the palatial
very
mansion,
rich, huge
you know.
mansion. And I don't even turn it on. I hire some people, have them come out,
That's right.
turn on the AC.
Get a head start on value and selection. Summer starts here at Inver Grove Toyota. For a limited time, find low 60-month financing options on a variety of 2025 Tacomas and Tundra trucks. But hurry in, it's your best chance yet to save. Visit InverGroveToyota.com for all the details. The summer savings have started at Inver Grove Toyota. InverGroveToyota.com.
Financial literacy. It's amazing they don't teach it in school. Listen to the Investing with Confidence show every Sunday at 11 p.m. and join us for a free investing class by texting the word investing to the number 210-210. Take